Hello and welcome to Bounding Live. My name is John Trent. I'm the editor-in-chief at Bounding Into Comics, and I am joined by my co-hosts, Jorge, the Holy Otter Arenas, Drew Taylor, Supreme Heretic, and Donald Edmonds. How are you guys doing tonight?
Filling up on pecan swirls right about now. I think I can fit about 4 more in my gullet.
Filling up on what?
Pecan swirls. You never seen those little cakes that you buy at the store?
No, I have no idea where. No.
What? No.
I was like, come on, Jorge, you're like dropping curse words like minute into the show. Okay, so that's like an actual thing? They're like
pecan swirls. How can you think pecans are...
Pecan. Or pecan.
Okay. What did you think he was saying?
Oh my
I
god.
thought he was saying something radically different.
I swear.
I'm not a northerner. I'm from Virginia.
That's what Virginians claim.
Wow. Wow.
Starting out spicy, gentlemen.
Yeah, I thought you were saying something totally different.
Get your mind out of the gutter, buddy.
It wasn't in the gutter. That's what I heard. But let's say hey to everyone in the chat real quick. So
Here we got Deviant Porg. We got Mark 63366. Got Lopter. We've got
Demon King of Inferno.
Got our boy Toxic.
Freaking A.
Tox. What's
Jeff,
up, buddy?
You know it's gonna
Jeff
be bad.
Stamper is there.
Yep.
I don't know what he's commenting on. Someone's picture. I don't know if that's your picture, Jorge, or maybe mine. I don't know.
It's probably mine.
George Forrest Jr. is also with us. And Mark's saying I need new headphones now. Yeah, I have them. They're actually, it's just like I have them. They're right here. I just haven't taken them. I just haven't taken them out of the box yet.
Wow.
Oh, look at you with the bows.
Fancy.
Look at the fancy mic. Wow.
I do. Yeah, I finally got my mic hooked up. Jorge was telling me that it sounds a lot better.
It sounds way better.
Night and day. Night and day.
So
I mean, and you're moving on up.
It was so stupid. You know how I was saying that I thought it was the wrong like boom mic? Well, no, it was just the wrong idiot trying to figure out how to use it. So there's this piece here that like was attached to the boom mic. And obviously my microphone does not fit in there. But if I unscrew it from the boom mic, all I have to do is screw my shock holder, or whatever it's called, the mic shock thing in, and voila, problem solved.
So you had a noob moment, is what you're saying.
Yeah, user error.
Yeah, total user error, noob moment. Well, I just had to look at it. I was telling Jorge, because I was going to go buy a new one, and I was looking at the pictures, and I was like, that looks exactly like mine. I have that, and I was like, fiddling around with it, and I figured it out just by looking at.
If the screw in looks like it goes in the hole, it probably goes in the hole.
Yeah.
Engineering 101, buddy.
So we're starting off on a great.
Starting off with that bell.
Yeah, this is going to be a great stream. I have really good vibes here already. So thank you all for joining us. I know we got folks on Twitter maybe watching as well as YouTube, because we are doing a dual stream. We did upgrade our StreamYard, so we can now dual stream to 2 places, and we're doing YouTube and Twitter now. We might in the future switch that to YouTube and Twitch. We'll see, because we have created a Twitch account, but we haven't done anything with it yet. So that's like the next thing on my list is figuring out how to hook up my PlayStation to the Twitch, and I think I'm gonna have to buy some kind of like converter if I want to do it for my Nintendo Switch. So I'll be looking into that and figuring that out, because we do want to get some Twitch going, and we'll get some video game streams going. I know that's been a request from the guys here, like Drew and Spencer and Jorge and Don have asked to play some games. So we're gonna try and get that going in the future on Twitch. So we got a lot going on.
Tehillim has arrived, and so is Parrot Head. Look out!
Oh yeah. The party is now here. We have Parrot Head.
John Willis.
The party has arrived. Oh yeah, John Willis is here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. Yeah, Mark63366 is calling me a boomer, I think. Yeah, I will admit to that. Boomer Mike. Boomer moment on that. But let's kind of get into what we usually do on our Bounding Lives. We usually start the show off with going around the horn and talking about kind of the things that we have taken an interest in the past week, whether that's a comic book, a video game, a movie, or a television series, or something else. And we usually get an update from Don on how far he has progressed in Dune, so I'm sure we'll be getting to that. That's like kind of the getting there. And while we're doing that, we would like you guys to share what you're been interested in this past week as well in the chat, and we'll probably read off some of those as we go around the horn. So please share with us as well what you guys have been enjoying. So we'll start with the Holy Otter, Jorge.
Hey guys, well, let's see. This week, other than me stuffing my gullet with pecan swirls, I've actually started playing. I don't want to hear that nonsense. I actually started playing Stellaris again. Right? It's been pretty fun. You know, being a cool alien and conquering the galaxy one system at a time. And just messing around with some writing here and there and having a good week. That's about it. Nothing much else going on.
That's good. That's good to hear. All right, we'll go straight to the Dune update from Don next.
Okay, so I am on Arrakis. I was introduced to Lady Jessica, the concubine of Duke Leto. And,
you should have already met her.
Yeah, but no, okay. She got the Chris knife.
Okay.
And apparently it's a very special knife for some reason, and it gives you like it cuts and coagulates at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as far as I got.
Okay. All right.
And in the meantime, I've got I wonder if I can show this without getting completely banned. Some artwork coming up. So.
Is that X-Men character?
Is that a new?
Yes.
Is that a new cover for Dynamite?
Oh, wow.
Trying to jump ahead of the show schedule here, Spencer. Jeez. No, that looks really good. That looked really good, Don. That looked really good, Don. I can't wait to see the final product. Maybe it will make it into our daily pinup story that we usually do.
I'd have to black out some of the parts, though.
No, we can put a shirt on it.
It's going to ring the bell.
All right, let's read some of the chat here real quick before we get to Drew. I see that Deviant Pork has started the Netflix Transformers Prime. I think that's the first in the trilogy, Deviant Pork. I saw that. I guess it's out already. I didn't know that it had arrived already. But yeah, that does look like it's something on my list. I'll have to maybe add that to it. It actually looked like a decent Transformers adaptation instead of like the really shoddy, crappy animation I've seen in the past on some of the newer Transformers stuff. Just didn't like I couldn't get over the animation. Plus, I thought that the show was like way too
important part of Transformers is the animation because they got to transform.
Yeah, well, I also thought it was like the story was just really just kind of reduced, really focused on like young kids too. It wasn't like there wasn't anything that like there, I guess. I don't know. To grab me. And plus I just really didn't like the art style. Let's see. Has anyone else said anything? Lopter is saying he's going after Walmart shoppers for Little Debbie treats.
Living the good life.
Oh yeah, so Lopter's still playing Monster Legends. Get your water legendaries ready for the summer heat. Let's see. He says he's been collecting water legendaries, General Thetis, Fearness, Nadaria, Cavenfish, Mystery, Frostbite, Theander, collecting souls. As the Demon King would. Demon Kings aren't supposed to be collecting souls, right? All right, Drew. Let's get to you.
Mine's mainly kind of a health update this week. A lot of stuff going on at physical therapy. I've already had a couple of appointments this week. I still got one coming up Friday. In between, I've been like hitting the gym, and I'm dieting right now, and I'm trying to really kind of work overtime to rehab from this thing and try to make myself halfway functional. In between, I played a little BSG Deadlock, and also I got I watched that Netflix Motley Crue movie, The Dirt.
Okay.
So that was actually good. I was surprised because I didn't know what to think about it, but yeah, it was actually a really entertaining movie. So yeah, things are going pretty well, and of course, God, I've gotta really catch up on my writing. That'll happen for sure. So not worried about it.
All right, man. Yeah, that's great that you're getting to the gym and working out and dieting. That's one thing I need to get back to doing. It's I've let go a little bit the past few months here. I'm hoping to get back to it. We'll see. My time might be even more taken up here.
Yeah, I can't do a lot of arms and chest or anything, but I could do like cardio, and that's what I've been doing mainly is like treadmill, bike, elliptical type stuff. So.
Yeah, that's what I need. I need to get a bike, like a stationary bike. But
Peloton.
No, I'm not paying for that. So we got some more folks here telling us whether they're checking out Roof Korean 92. Jorge and you must be great friends. Ghost of Tsushima, definitely a well-made game, and Japan loves it. Physical copies are selling out there. Yeah, I've heard good things about that as well. I mean, Spencer, I think, did an article on it, said Famitsu, Japanese magazine, gave it a perfect score, and it's one of 3 games that's ever gotten a perfect score. Those being the other 2 being Skyrim and GTA 5.
Yeah,
so it's super high praise.
It's really interesting because I've actually seen multiple people play it. I checked out I checked out Upper Echelon Gaming, who, by the way, Upper Echelon Gaming is one of the big YouTube channels. Some of us,
he's pretty good.
Some of us actually, get info and good scoops from Upper Echelon Gaming. So he's a good sub on YouTube if anybody wants to stay up on gaming news and news around the YouTube sphere in general. But yeah, I saw Upper Echelon playing it. It's a really good game. Really historically, they took a lot of good care to bring that historical flavor. I really like it. It's good for console game. I know that I kind of turn my nose up at console because I'm a PC guy, PC master race.
PC freaking master race.
But I will give it credit. That game looks amazing, and I hope someday there is a PC port of that game because I will play it if there is.
Oh, I'm sure they'll probably be working on it right now. All right, Toxic Man Flu says, I smoked ribs over the weekend and shot off giant fireworks with my neighbors over the weekend. Sounds like a good time.
Right. I'm jealous of that.
That sounds like a really good time. Ribs, man. I love ribs. Barbecue is probably like my favorite food. Right, like at this moment in my life, I just love barbecue, and ribs are at the top there. John Willis says, looking forward to Bobbyverse Book 4 coming out and the next Expeditionary Force Book 10. I think we're going to need a little bit more explanation on that. I'm not familiar with those titles. So if you could give us a little bit more info on that, John Willis, appreciate that. Deviant Porg says, and for the One Piece readers, it's... hold on, I just scrolled down and I lost it. And for the One Piece readers, it's just an incredible period right now. All chapters are. I'm not sure if he's saying if you meant to say free there or fire. He said fire. I'm not sure if you meant to say free though. And in 14 chapters, it will be the 1000, and it's the 23rd anniversary.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's. I'm a huge One Piece fan. I've been reading it for years, ever since I can remember. And I think fire is accurate because the last few chapters have just been incredible for One Piece fans, and we're gearing up for the 1000th chapter. So it's all full steam ahead right now, and it's really good.
Dude, what
All
gear
right.
is he on right now?
He's on a Super Gear Limit Breaker.
Okay.
Gear 4 sign.
John Wilson is also saying something about the search for Bender is renamed Heaven's River. And I guess Mark 63366 knows what Bob's verse is. I'm not familiar with that. Are you guys familiar with that?
I'm not.
Okay.
Is that like Bobby's World?
I have no idea. Shadow Man 9.
Second time this week I've heard somebody reference Bobby's World for the first time in like 20 years.
The first thing that came to my mind was some Arabic man saying, "Show Bob's."
Bob, pretty lady Bob.
Shadow Man 9 asks, "Hey there, guys, new platform." Yeah, Shadow Man 9. We're, like I said earlier, we're streaming to both Twitter and YouTube right now. We might switch over to Twitch in the future, but with the multi-platform, we're doing Twitter as well as YouTube. So you can join it. You can watch us on both of those platforms right now.
All across the internet.
But hey, boys, are you ready for the fabulousness that is this Filipina?
It's that time of the night where we get the next waifu level for Don and Drew.
Mark 63366 says Jim Butcher released another Dresden Files book. Is that any good? Did you check it out yet, Mark?
I've heard those are really good.
Yeah, those are good. So I know they've been adapted to comic book. I think Dynamite did some Dresden Files comic book adaptations as well.
Oh, that's right. It was a TV show.
Yes, like half a season there. It was a really solid show.
Tom is saying I walked in at the wrong time. I'm guessing he's referencing what you just said, Drew, about the airplane. I don't know. All right. Let's jump to Spencer. What have you been enjoying?
Yeah. So after last week's discussion with our special guest OC Steve, I took the time to go back to the Boom Studios Power Rangers books, and man, these are just great comics, guys. They're so well written. The Rangers feel like human beings and teenagers, and there's no ham-fisted like social messages, and it's just good comic books. And so I highly recommend it to anybody. And aside from that, obviously I've been watching God of High School for a couple reviews we're doing, and again, that series is so damn good. If anybody follows me on Twitter, you'll see I've been gushing about it the last couple of days, but that is just some of the best animated fights I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I'm waiting for those audio files so we can get those reviews up.
Yeah, I was doing right before we jumped on.
Oh, sweet! Oh, dude, I'll look forward to that. Maybe by the end of the week.
Probably by the end of the night. As soon as we're off this, I'll keep recording.
Oh, great! So I did see that John Willis did do a little explain what Bobbyverse is. He says they're audible books. Bobbyverse is a guy dies in 2019 at Comic-Con Vegas and winds up revived as an AI in a von Neumann probe sent to the stars 200 years later. Interesting. Okay.
That's kind of cool.
Mark says Mark 63366 adds Bobverse is a sci-fi series where a man mind is loaded into a spaceship. As he needs, Bob makes copies of himself, eventually saving the universe. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Do they do that like on a weekly update, or is it like are they actual books that are audiobooks, or so yeah, if you guys just
it's like that one episode of TNG where that one guy just loads into the Enterprise and takes over the ship, puts it into like this super space warp, and ends up meeting a new species out in deep space.
I wonder
what
what
remember that nobody
was doing during that.
Say that again, Spencer. I didn't hear the beginning part.
I said, I wonder what the crews on the lower decks of the Enterprise were doing during that.
Nothing positive.
They probably weren't getting naked in the ship. That's for sure.
There goes the party.
All right. So as for me, I picked up Chicago Typewriter by Brandon Fiadino. I'm probably saying his name wrong. But Dark Legion Comics. It's a nice like supernatural story. It's set in this kind of like supernatural 1920s Chicago. It's got a lot of that. What's the word called where they ban the alcohol? Prohibition. It's got a lot of the Prohibition era storytelling, but it mixes it in with some supernatural elements. The world is really rich. I quite enjoyed it. And then, as I've told Spencer earlier, so Spencer reviewed Megalobox. What was that? Like last year, I think.
Like last year, or the year before.
Yeah, a year or two ago, and I think it finally just arrived on Netflix. And I remembered his review. He had a lot of high praise for it, and so when it popped up on like my recommendations on Netflix, I put it on, and I've already binged the first 4 episodes. Absolutely fantastic series. I adore the art style. The art style is so good.
I also knew you would be a fan of it because you're a fan of boxing, and this is just straight boxing.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. It's just here's an opponent, fight him.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of just straight to the point. A good like underdog boxing story. And obviously it's not just boxing. It's called Megaloboxing, which like. Most of the boxers have these like rigs that they attach to themselves that make them stronger, quicker, faster, better. And there's obviously different types of harnesses that they can wear. And usually the people who have the better harnesses, at least from right now, the guy who has the best harness is like the number 1 boxer. So, but it also obviously still relies on good boxing skills, footwork, and stuff like that. And they do focus on that a little bit as well. At least they did in the 4th episode, that episode was probably my favorite of the 4 so far. But I mean, I love the character Joe. He's just gritty. He just wants to win, and he's ready to get that to achieve his goals. So that's what
classic sports hero.
Yeah, so that's what I've been. I was watching a little bit of that, and then I read Chicago Typewriter, and then outside of entertainment, I have a pretty. I haven't gotten really far into it. It's kind of my Dune. It's up there, Puritan's Empire. It's more of a nonfiction kind of history of America from a Catholic perspective. So that's just kind of the things that I have been checking out. All right, so let's do we have anyone else telling us I guess John Wilson saying Expeditionary Force is Audible series 9 books now. Oh, so they are books. 10 and 11 days from now, Earth gets invaded, swept up, galactic war, audio drama with interlude with many Star Trek Voyager actors. Okay. OC Steve is asking about Megalobox. He said, so like it's Real Steel with mech gear. So Real Steel is robots, and the guys are building the robots. Megalobox is the actual person is fighting, except that they're just enhanced with like mechanical equipment.
Yeah, they have like a harness on their back that kind of makes their arms a little faster and a little stronger. But aside from that's all they get. There's no, Kamehamehas or power-ups. It's just their machines.
It also helps them in defense as well. So it helps them defend against other people's megalo. I guess that's what they're called, right? A megalobox is the
megalobox.
Yeah, it helps them defend against other people's megaloboxes. And they made that very abundantly clear because Joe, in his first couple fights, actually fights as Gearless Joe. So it makes the odds even more greater. And there's also like a very human element to it because it has this game like they're basically being funded by like a crime lord, and his trainer is actually like seems to be a well-renowned trainer. They haven't really dived into it. There's just kind of hints and references to it, and so he's got a good trainer, and the trainer is the one who seems to be the one who has put himself in a bit of a pickle with this underground crime. Syndicate. So we'll see how everything goes. I like how there's like lots of setbacks for both the trainer and Joe. They have to work to overcome them, and so I highly recommend it. I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
I'm excited for you to finish it. We'll probably gush even more about it.
Yeah, I think there's only 13 episodes, so it's
pretty short.
It's a short one. And then and I also ordered the first manga adaptation of Goblin Slayer. I'm waiting for that to come in the mail. So I'm hoping that gets here by the end of the week or next week.
Time for the movie.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that as well. Yeah, I know what Dresden Files is, Mark 63366, but I'll read the chat anyways. Dresden Files follows a wizard that works as a PI in modern day Chicago. One of my favorite fantasy series. The latest book is one hell of a cliffhanger. I highly recommend. Yeah, I've heard good things about the Dresden Files. I think I reviewed a couple of the comics like way back in the day when Bounding was just basically comic book reviews. And I enjoyed them.
The before times.
Yeah, that was like a long time ago.
Long time ago.
All right. OC Steve is telling you to skip the TMT crossover with Power Rangers.
You got to take
the
bad. Yeah, we did cover that actually.
I thought the Zord was like this. The designs looked cool, at least for the turtles.
Really cool with the big turtle shell.
Yeah, but maybe the story sucked.
I mean,
some of the
believe that.
Dude, some of the comic book crossovers are hit or miss, man. I will say that, like, I think IDW has done a good job. They usually do a good job with their crossovers. Like the Star Trek Green Lantern crossover.
Oh, that was so good.
Super good. And then I did like the Batman TMNT crossover. And then DC did. Yeah, DC. I guess it's more DC crossovers. I guess DC did a crossover with it was He-Man and
Injustice.
No, that I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought that was the one you were talking about. I didn't like that one either.
Yeah, they use the same artist. Like the art is fantastic. But the He-Man and what are they called? Why can't I think of their names right now? The lion. His name's Lion-O. What is their Thundercats?
Thundercats.
Yes, the He-Man Thundercats crossover is phenomenal. Absolutely great story. Like Mum-Ra and Skeletor, like they do some crazy stuff. Like it's really good. All right. Enough about talking about like we're just having a great show here, just talking about stuff we like here.
Board, yeah.
Let's jump into the headline of this YouTube video. Why probably a lot of you have joined us tonight. Let's talk about some Star Wars rumors. Let's start with the most recent one that dropped today, and it didn't. I want to say it didn't really drop today because this rumor has been around for over half a year now. But it's kind of resurfaced again, and these rumors do kind of go in cycles. But this one came from a different source from the original one, and basically said that Lucasfilm and Disney are looking to have Donald Glover reprise his role as Lando Calrissian in his own original series, spinning out of Solo. And so this new source was, this new source was the Kessel Run Transmissions, and they said that I think you said it was expensive, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, they said that they dropped a Brinks truck on his lawn, so in order to get him there, which I don't like. From everything I'm seeing, Disney is like struggling financially. I don't know if they can be like.
Well, that's why I mentioned that. That doesn't look like it's really in the cards with their current financial situation, right? I mean, I think a lot of people would really love to hear that sort of news, but if you look at what's going on with their revenue, it'd be a heck of a risk for them to take on that sort of new debt, right?
No, and unless Lando's a card-playing womanizer, I don't know who wants to watch it because nobody likes Pando; they like Lando.
Oh,
exactly. I don't want Pando either. I have zero interest. Zero interest in the Donald Glover version of Lando.
Yeah, I said this on Twitter. It's too bad because I think Donald Glover is like one of the best actors, and he's probably one of the best nerd representatives in like mainstream media. And he just had nothing to work with here. They gave him the worst version of Lando that you could have possibly done.
Well, it was like an afterthought Lando. So that
it was. Oh man, this movie's going to be really bad. What can we do to save it at the last minute? Oh yeah, Lando. Let's get the coolest guy in Hollywood, and maybe he'll get us some money. And he didn't.
I mean, unless they're going to restructure the character completely from the ground up, you might get initial interest, but it's going to like drip off pretty quick.
It's the same thing Disney's always done, which is just use name recognition to try and push their new crap.
Yeah, because if they go with that, then it's just more social justice nonsense, and nobody's gonna go for it at all.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with the robot stuff with Lando.
Lando Calcipian.
Yep. People
That's good.
People sick of social justice garbage, man. They just want entertainment. Nobody's gonna watch that junk.
Well, he's supposed to be just, like really cool and collected, right? In his previous,
he's supposed to be a ladies' man, and he's a gambler, and he's really suave.
He's supposed to have like a Bond, suave, but more of an entrepreneur thing going on, and none of that is what came up.
Kind of like that 70s, 80s sort of very slick playboy type of feel. I always thought of Lando as smooth, baby.
But the problem is that like, what people want is something that they're not going to deliver because it's just too dangerous for them to, do that.
It's too masculine.
Too masculine. I can easily see them throwing out articles like, "Oh, Lando's just like the classic Lando, but is this blaxploitation?"
No, you're right. I can totally see that from the Mary Sue.
Of course.
Other garbage sites.
Oh God.
And I need good like A style entertainment back. Please bring me back some shows that actually objectify women for a change.
Drew, I said put that dagger away. You gotta see fit, man. Come on.
I mean, come on.
Dude, Gail's watching. You can't say that.
I can say that.
She's gonna write you into the fridge in her next comic book.
No, that's fine. Go ahead. I mean, gladly. While she sits around and eats ho-hos all day. I mean, my goodness. Go ahead and just write up a nice article about me, Gail, please. You can reach me on Twitter @Supreme Heretic.
Holy crap, you're going like Super Saiyan with your drops today, Drew. Love it.
It's that recovery. He's feeling healthier. He's getting back into his full power.
If they do Pando, like which it's Disney and Star Wars, most likely that's what they're going to be. Like that show is going to bomb. No one is going to watch that.
Oh, it's going woke though. It's going to go.
Yeah,
dude, the memes are going to be rich. All they gotta do is drop the end in that word, and it's gonna be rich.
Just wait till they're gonna add in some like new robot. Like that's like it's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be a male robot, man.
There you go. I'm glad you caught that. Yes, exactly. You're right. It's gonna be a mess.
Oh,
it'd be funnier to watch a garbage disposal eat up old food.
It's such a missed opportunity because I do think there is a lot of potential in a Lando series if you're tapping into the Lando that we saw in the original trilogy, the Lando that they showed in Star Wars Rebels when he did his guest appearances and was voiced by Billy D. Williams, and he's like trying to get this hog to like that can like sniff up stuff.
And it's obvious that he can totally do the Billy D, aura in his acting. It's just again the writing.
Yeah,
writer's willing to invoke that in Glover, and it's doubtful it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, like I think like you just said, what Spencer had said previously, Glover can act. Like the scenes where he's where he's playing cards and he's kind of playing off of Han a little bit. Like I mean, he's got the charisma to play Lando, to be that smooth criminal. To reference Michael Jackson there. But yeah, the writing was atrocious. They added in that stupid, annoying robot, which like honestly, I think they were trying to be serious about it, and then it became comic relief when they did that whole like rebellion scene.
Well, someone realized it was a screw up and they tried to clean it up as much as possible in editing. They're like, okay, this is gonna be funny now. Someone just had a demented dream and they're like, we're gonna put that in the movie. I'm gonna write it in.
No, the chat wants their Baywatch reboot.
They already got that with The Rock and Zac Efron and Alexandra Daddario.
No, they want the rumored reboot television show, which actually I heard that if that happens, it's funny. I know I was talking about watching that Motley Crue movie, The Dirt. It's funny because Nikki Sixx's daughter is supposed to be in that if they come out with that, because Nikki Sixx and Donna D'Erco's daughter is going to be in it, and she's a smoke show. So,
in a Baywatch show?
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down in my notes.
Yep.
But I mean, at this point in time, I'd rather see a dot matrix from Spaceballs and be brought to life instead of Lando and his robot lust.
They have done 2 comic book series on Lando. I didn't read the second one because it was the Pando version with Glover. I was just not interested in that. But I did read the first one. It was by Charles Soule. I know he's getting a lot of flack right now for his High Republic book that's coming out, and I read some of that, and that was one of the most atrocious things I've ever read in a Star Wars book. It just didn't make any sense from paragraph to paragraph. There was contradictions of vast, but his Lando series is actually quite enjoyable. Basically, Lando is he takes on a contract to steal a Imperial yacht, basically, and the twist is that the Imperial yacht is the Emperor's, and it's the home of numerous Sith artifacts. And the Emperor finds out that his yacht's been stolen, has all these Sith artifacts on it. He contracts a bounty hunter to recover it. The bounty hunter is actually an old flame of Lando's, and then they actually end up teaming up to take on these Sith artifacts that go into defense mode. So it was actually it was a very good Star Wars adventure series with a bunch of twists and turns. So I actually highly recommend it. I think it was a 5-6 issue miniseries. Nice. And there are series that's what I'm saying. There are good stories to tell of the old Billy D. Williams Lando, either before New Hope or even before Empire Strikes Back. I'm sure
Lando, anyone? I mean, him just straight up, working in the underground, doing business with everyone in the outer core. There's a lot out there that they can definitely bring up.
How does he get his hands on Cloud City? They hint about that a little bit in Rebels with there's this pig creature. There's a whole storyline with Hondo from Star Wars Rebels. If you don't know, Hondo's shows back up in Rebels, but he's a Clone Wars character. And if you don't know Hondo, he's like a pirate. And he kind of acts as comedic relief a lot. But he's a great character too. And they should definitely, if they do a Lando series, Hondo needs to show up. And if we're he could be he's kind of a rival to Lando a little bit, and then you could even have them playing off each other. It could be really fun. So I think there are a lot of opportunities for a Lando series.
In the Lando series is that depending on if they go Pando or regular Lando, every person he meets, he has to have slept with. That's my entire thing. I want him to be that smooth. Whether he's Pando and it's every robot, or if he's just straight and it's every woman he comes across, I want him to be that smooth.
The robots have to have sparks that come out afterwards, dude.
It is Lando. If anybody, it'll be Lando.
Yeah, I want that motherboard to crash. Right? It's got to be all the way. We're going that route.
Rebuild me my protocol droid to do something a little more.
He corrupted that hard drive, right?
Corrupted mine.
Oh boy.
Oh, hey now.
Oh man, I forgot all about that, OC Steve. The young Han Solo series. Those were good, but they weren't as. I feel like they were trying to capture the magic of the young Indiana Jones series, and it didn't quite work.
Yeah, and by the way, OC Steve, see, we're not done racking up achievements. We're not going to be satisfied until the whole Whisper Network attacks us.
I mean, we need some good epic loots from these bosses. They're big.
Exactly.
Dude, I'm waiting for Simone's simp to come after us.
When can I get my +2 book of not selling?
Oh my god. That was amazing.
Everyone knows Simone's simp, right? Tom King.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
All right. Do we have any last words on this Lando? Oh, so this was like the latest Lando rumor. It came from Cecil on Transmission, but there was a previous rumor in April. I think Grace Randolph had it. She said there was going to be 2 Lando series, one involving Donald Glover's Pando, and then the other. I don't think she obviously didn't say Pando. And then the other was like an old Lando with Jana and like exploring her like family
Caves?
and like discovering who her dad is or something like that. Her caves, okay, yeah. No, if that's like the right word to describe that. But then there was also another rumor back in November from our friend Mikey Sutton. He had indicated that a Lando series was in the works. I don't have it in front of me right now, what he stated, but he actually had like a little bit of like some plot details on what they were like talking about. Let me pull it up here real quick.
Yeah, and then all these sites are coming out with it like it was new news.
Yeah, I think the issue is that it came from Kessel Run Transmissions, and they had just broken that the Bad Batch. They had the Bad Batch scoop, so I think that's why. Yeah. We ran it too.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time things get brought back up in a couple weeks, a couple months afterwards.
Yeah, so this is what Sutton said. He said Lucasfilm is planning to have Donald Glover reprise his role from Solo. While Solo wasn't the massive box office smash that Disney wanted, it was an absolute bomb. It showed how much The Last Jedi was horrible. Glover's portrayal was well received. I don't know if I agree with that. I think his acting was decent, was good, but I don't think people liked the way Lando was portrayed.
No, he needed to be older than Solo, in my opinion. But that's just me.
I always considered them as like around the same age.
Yeah, but it calls him kid during the dialogue, and I'm like,
oh, Lando.
Do realize
calls Han kid? Yeah.
You look younger than him, right?
Yeah. And then he said the program is expected to have the gritty Western flavor of The Mandalorian and the pulpy fiction of Solo. So that was kind of he was hinting at what the themes would be there.
Oh, that sounds so amazing.
They're going to put a Baby Yoda in there. I bet you.
Well, this was back in November.
Right now.
Those themes are really good, but the way we saw them executed in those 2 sources doesn't make me hopeful.
Yeah, so The Mandalorian still has to convince me with season 2 on how good it really is. I'm not fully there yet.
And I'll never accept Solo as like a good Western movie.
No, it wasn't. He's describing it as pulpy fiction.
Or even pulp. It barely was.
Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, no.
Solo to me was the origin story for all of Han Solo's stuff.
Yes. Solo, I think a lot of people, I know people say that they think it's like decent, but I think they think that because The Last Jedi was such trash.
Yeah, because everything else it is so bad.
Yeah, the bar wasn't that high.
Because there was a lot of issues with that, with Solo as well. I mean, the whole Chewbacca and the pit thing, the
worst moment in that entire film comes 3 minutes in when the Imperial officer asks Han what his last name is.
Yes.
That's the worst fucking moment in anything.
Yeah, it was horrible. What's Solo?
Solo.
He just, yeah.
I want to. I don't know. I need a series that has like instead of Baby Yoda, like Baby President G. You know.
You mean Pooh Bear?
Yeah.
The 1,000 Acre Woods is going to be a planet.
That'd be awesome.
All right. So, any last words on Lando?
No, that's it.
Good luck.
He's gonna get some massive computer burns, but whatever.
Which way, Western man?
Yeah, so this is Yahtzee Istaphobe has joined the chat. He says I preferred Lando before they turned him into Captain Harkness from Doctor Who. I don't think any of us are really Doctor Who people. I've watched a couple episodes with Harkness. But yeah, the Lando character from Solo does.
I feel like Harkness was a little different because from the very outset, they established, he's this interdimensional, interplanetary time traveler, Doctor Who related hero. So of course he's going to have sex with all these different aliens and stuff. That's just like they did with Captain Kirk. They didn't randomly pull it out of their butt that Harkness 4 seasons in is Panness.
Well, I think that's what Yahtzee's saying, though. He's saying that they turned him into Harkness in Solo.
Yeah. I can see that.
No, yeah, they tried to copy it because there's never any original ideas anymore.
I haven't had an original idea since, I don't know, ever.
Right?
I don't know if you need original ideas. I mean, I'm watching Megalobox. Like, the original idea there is that they have I guess there is an original idea with the suits. Yeah. But I mean, it's a boxing story still. I mean, that's been around for. I mean,
I remember
boxing was around.
I remember learning when I was in school, because I got an English degree, that there's something along the lines of there's only 7 stories to tell out there. Like hero's journey, hero loses, yada yada yada. I'm sure everybody knows 1,000,000,004 different tropes like that. But it's more about how you tell the story rather than what story you're telling.
I mean, you're on to something, Spencer. It's not just that, though. I mean, they're also busy deconstructing these characters, right? So they're trying to not only not take from older stories and reapply them and take it elsewhere with what they already have, but they're looking to deconstruct these characters. We've seen them multiple franchises, right? They want to show that these aren't the characters you love anymore. They are this, they are that, they are flawed.
I think that right there, Jorge, is the problem in that deconstructing characters can work. It can be really good. We can get some really great stories. We've gotten some great
Watchmen.
Yeah, Watchmen was an incredible story. There have been Superman for All Seasons was a really good story. Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader was a great story.
Injustice.
Injustice.
Great stories.
The problem here is that when they deconstruct these characters, once they get to the deconstruction, they try to convince you that the parts that they've deconstructed were for something else. So they take the Superman toaster. I'm just going to take a really random analogy here. They take the Superman toaster, break it down to its main parts, and then they take a spring that was in it and go, see this spring? This was clearly part of a guillotine. So Superman is anti-class, warfare, whatever. And
exactly.
And then the rest of us are going, no, they made a toaster. You're going to repurpose it. That's not deconstructing. That's repurposing. And then we can block.
No,
yeah, I also think with when you're doing a deconstruction story, you don't take the characters in the same continuity and deconstruct them.
Right, that too. Yeah. Yes, you make separate continuities.
You make an Elseworld story.
Or you make a parody of the characters like in Watchmen, or like Don said, an Elseworld story like Injustice. Yeah.
Oh boy, are we all excited for Rorschach?
Oh my gosh.
12 issues.
Won't be watching. Won't be reading.
Tom King.
Won't be
Gail
reading.
Simp.
Won't be reading.
Gail Simpmone.
All right, so here's a little bit of hope for Star Wars. So this is the rumor from our other good friend, Doomcock, Overlord Doomcock.
Hail
Doomcock.
Hail Doomcock. So as Doomcock does with most of his rumors, he prefaces it saying, as with all of these rumors originating inside Disney and or Lucasfilm, I cannot independently confirm what I'm about to tell you, so I urge you to regard all of what follows as rumor and take it with a grain of salt. And so then he gets into the rumor and he says, one of my agents asked one of our informants, are the rumors about Kathleen Kennedy leaving BS or is there something to it? So so just to preface this a little bit, there's about 4 rumors, I think, 3 or 4 rumors here. The first one is that Kathleen Kennedy is out. So his source says the informant replied that no, it is most assuredly not BS. My source then asked the question point blank: is Kathleen Kennedy gone? And the informant replied, yes. Disney and Kathleen Kennedy have come to. There should be an article there. Have come to an arrangement, and Kathleen Kennedy will soon be departing from Lucasfilm. Indeed, in practical terms, she is already effectively out. My source requested details regarding what the terms of this arrangement effectively are, but this informant quote refused to elaborate. So let's talk about that rumor real quick. I mean, this has been a rumor that's been going around for years. For me, I'll believe it when I see it.
I have to agree. This has been the same thing that's been kicked around for way too long to have too much in my mind.
Well, look,
like a dream.
I think it's wishful thinking to a degree, but I also think that it's definitely plausible given the fact, like, man, at this point she's got to be on her last legs, and it's just a matter of like months.
Dude, she's on stumps.
Yeah. I mean, she's got to be out soon, and I figure that she probably is. One of the things too.
She's the architect behind this image.
Yeah.
Look at that beautiful image right there.
One of the things also, John, PJ invited me to I think tomorrow afternoon, like around 1. He invited me to come on and talk to Alan Dean Foster, and Alan Dean Foster is friends with George, so I can straight up ask Alan, do you think that George is gonna make a comeback?
Here's the thing.
Go for it.
Here's the thing. I don't think that's gonna happen. I was listening to Gary this afternoon. His assessment was there is stuff going down at Lucasfilm/Disney. But what's going to happen, what his supposition is they're going to get Feige on it. Feige's going to be the one to carry the Star Wars going forward if Kennedy leaves, because they kind of teased it. Yeah.
I believe that.
They announced Feige was going to be producing a Star Wars film last year, I want to say.
Yeah.
I think it was right before Rise of Skywalker.
And when they announced that, announced it, he was like given like answers that only like a hardcore Star Wars nerd would know. He was actually excited, more excited than he is about like Marvel franchises that he produces. So it's might be a setup, but it's a setup.
I could believe the part where if Kennedy's out, that they might put out an olive branch to Lucas to have like
consulting
say in how that a Star Wars a full on Star Wars verse would go, and kind of what he sees out of it, and they might like get him in, like you guys said, consulting mode, where like he gives his vision, and then maybe they take some of that and apply it to the layout going forward. But I don't think he's going to be heavily involved where he's like a producer or anything.
No, I don't think he'd be heavily involved, but I can definitely see them bringing him in, like you said, Drew, to consult.
Right.
If only to get brownie points with the fandom that they've pushed away.
Be for those two reasons exactly. He's going to polish up the product, and he's also going to get the cred from the fans who think that he's going to be the new savior of the franchise. Right. So he's going to be doing a dual role. It looks like that's at the very least what they're setting him up for.
And essentially, it would give better Star Wars because, like
potential. I don't know,
the continuity would probably be a lot better.
Man, I don't know. This is kind of like a mess. It's like a train crash and trying to put the bodies back together. I don't think you're gonna be able to do that well.
Look what's coming in Phase 4, dude.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean he's out there promoting all that stuff too. He's the one doing all the promotion for all of that stuff. They have there's literally producers. What was that one producer saying that the X-Men name needs to be changed because it says men in it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Those are the people who are like top executives at Marvel Studios.
X-Peeps.
Bad shit, crazy.
Yeah. If they ruin the X-Men, that's
I'll know how Gary feels when they screwed up Doctor Who. If they freaking screw up the X-Men, I will know how.
You should already know that feeling, Don. Dark Phoenix.
Do I have to bring it up, Don? Do I have to bring it up? Is it that time of the night where I bring it up?
Shut up.
Bring it up. Bring it up.
New Mutants is never coming out. They've already screwed up. Have fun with your trailer tomorrow. See you again in at Christmas time for another trailer.
The trailer that we already saw that says it's coming to Disney Plus.
Oh, Don, I'm sorry.
Let me take that back.
Put your camera back on, Don.
Don, I'm sorry.
Don't hide behind that OnlyFans photo. Man, X-Men have been screwed up for years. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I mean, the X-Men were on an upswing after, what was it, Days of Future Past?
It breathed some life into the franchise, but it started going
First
down
Class.
Homer.
First Class and Days of Future Past were great, and then
Logan had some promise.
But Logan was separate.
Yeah, exactly.
Deadpool.
I'd say it was even harder of a drop than that, John.
It was an apocalypse, man.
But it really was.
Yeah, it's a shame because I actually liked. I know some people had issues with the Wolverine. I thought the Wolverine was actually decent, and Logan was great.
It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's fun.
Yeah,
good popcorn flick.
I'll admit that I kind of like the scene where Silver Samurai drills into Wolverine's claws. That's just pretty brutal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
That Avatar photo, Chris, amazing.
Yeah, the Rogue. So Yahtzee saying the Rogue cut of Days of Future Past is if you haven't seen the Rogue cut of Days of Future Past, it's way better than the theatrical cut.
Theatrical.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, they might as well just take new, like OC Steve's talking about. They might as well just put New Mutants on Disney Plus because they're not getting the subscribers they're looking for on that platform.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's hold off on New Mutants. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. I don't want to jump forward. Let's get back to Star Wars here real quick. So any last thoughts on this rumor that Kennedy is out? I'm not so sure. I mean, we did get the announcement of the Headland series. We got Taika Waititi, but we haven't had anything further on that. I do think there's stuff behind the scenes where it's potentially she's being phased out. COVID might make that happen quicker. We know that Obi-Wan was having rewrites after she promised that the scripts were good and ready to go. Who knows when that's going to go into production if it does. Then you have the Cassian Andor series, which is also seemingly in kind of a limbo stage where it looks like the only thing they're really moving forward on. What's that, Spencer?
Oh, I just said, I haven't heard anything about that in a while.
Yeah. And then the I lost my train of thought there. The Mandalorian is basically the only thing that they've moved forward on. And then we have the Bad Batch, which obviously, given the work restrictions that Hollywood has imposed on itself, and like a lot of these governors have imposed on them, they can really only do a lot of animated stuff. You can't really do a lot of live action stuff. You might be able to do it more with the way the Mandalorian set up because it's all done in studio anyways. And there's a lot of obviously digital stuff that's done, so it's possible that they could keep doing Mandalorian stuff like that. But I don't know if that was their plan with Obi-Wan and Cassian Andor. Because if I remember correctly, back when people were saying that there was the Obi-Wan project was not happening, I think Boris Johnson actually commented that Obi-Wan was going to be filming in Northern Ireland or something like that. That was a couple years ago though, so who knows if they're going to do that. I think I saw comments from Chris Neville. Thank you for joining us, Chris Neville. He was saying pre-COVID and post-COVID thinking should be considered with every rumor. What can be afforded and what will make money? Yes, I agree. Yeah. That is a good point. And then I also saw Dread Pirate Mikey. Thank you for joining us, Dread Pirate Mikey. KK has destroyed the merchandise business. How can they keep her? Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's something that's really huge. I mean, the parks obviously are closed now. It doesn't seem that the Star Wars parks were doing what Disney wanted. They even admitted so in their investors meetings and multiple meetings. Actually, I think back-to-back quarters, they admitted that it was no good.
Yeah, it was
what they were looking for. And then obviously licensees have like no interest in the new Star Wars characters. I think the only one that people seem to be showing interest in is Kylo Ren. I don't think anyone has like really gotten anything else. We've heard from actual retailers saying that. I think that's kind of where that is on the retail front or the merchandise front. Has anyone even buying like? I don't even think people are even buying sequel trilogy socks and stuff. A lot of the stuff they're coming out with now is like Empire Strikes Back stuff. People are still buying old stuff.
Everybody did the big runs on like BB-8 stuff and Baby Yoda stuff, but we've seen like retailers talk about how nobody wants a freaking Holdo figure.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
No, hold
or Rose Tico besides Ethan and Az.
Yeah,
Has bought 2 Rose Ticos to rip the heads off.
I'm pretty sure Ethan is the only reason those toys are still being made. He just has a constant order coming in.
All right, let's move into the second part of Doomcock's rumor here, and that is Kennedy to join Bad Robot. So later in the video, Doomcock would discuss another rumor, prefacing it saying, "You should take this with a truckload of salt sprinkled on saltwater taffy with anchovies." He then detailed, "I've been informed by another source that Kathleen Kennedy is in talks with Bad Robot to begin destroying things for them." Obviously, he's putting his own opinion there. I don't think Bad Robot needs help from Kathleen Kennedy to destroy things.
No, he's doing fine.
Do that themselves.
If he joins Bad Robot, it's going to create a black hole of suckiness that's going to encompass the entire planet and suck us all in. It's going to really be bad.
I don't understand how they can hire another white person at Bad Robot, though, given that they have a whole manual of trying to
because it's the right type of white person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, let's not debunk that their diversity is a little shallow.
It's because the Asian people are so violent, or whatever it was that they called Asian people, right? In their little guidebook.
Oh my gosh.
Dude.
I thought, didn't they have issues with white women too? I think it was like white women and Asian people were like they had like issues with in the guidebook,
that's Leslie Headland.
Me and Spencer are tokens.
We really are.
Oh yeah.
That is the only reason.
What are you eating, Drew?
Rice.
Huge.
Goldfish.
That's a lot. I'm with Spencer. He's got rice in there.
Not a bad choice.
Thinking all us Filipinos just eat rice.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we do.
With adobo, right?
Just give us any kind of rice, man. We'll take it.
Like, I can't really say it's not racist if I have rice literally cooking next to me.
Right. Yep. Any kind of rice, we're good. Brown rice.
I can go for a pot of rice right now.
I pretty much just make a pot in the morning to throw in with every meal, so call it.
Exactly.
That's the way I live.
So Hilling says Bad Robot with J.J. Abrams supposedly working with DC. KK doing DC movies from Mark 63366. Rest in peace. Hilling also says KK wants to destroy DC. I don't know. I think what Doomcock says, take it with a truckload of salt on saltwater taffy with anchovies. I think that's good for that. I don't know how much I believe that source there either. I don't know. I mean, after Rise of Skywalker, like why would Warner Brothers? I mean, I guess if she's joining Bad Robot, that would be different than her joining Warner Brothers. But I would think that Warner Brothers would have something to say if she was joining Bad Robot to work on all their on Abrams's Justice League Dark and whatever else he has planned.
That's part of the rumor. To me, it's the most realistic one because nepotism and moving, garbage people around is really common in this industry, right? I mean,
true.
You look at some of the resumes and you wonder, like, how on earth, who did they touch, right, to get this position? What human sacrifice was made? in order for them to, get this sort of money from these studios to crash and burn. So I think, to me, this part of the rumor is the most realistic one.
Well, that's one thing that's like incredibly frustrating, because you see like Script Doctor and Cameron Pasha and people like that, like, they should be like doing stuff right now and helming some of this, like writing some of this stuff, not be stuck on the sidelines, all because they're not they don't follow the social justice Pied Piper. I mean, it's stupid. God.
I mean, you got the pipe part right, and that seems to be what they're totally on top of to get these positions. I'm not using a pun at all. But you're absolutely right. This is an industry that's also, claims they're all in for diversity, bringing new voices in, but they keep recycling the same old people who keep.
Star Wars Net 12 by Joss Whedon this summer.
Dude, I can promise you that, like, if this culturally, if this social justice stuff went away, like, tomorrow, Hollywood would do such a 180. They'd be like, oh, we're cool. Look at us. We're not SJW anymore.
Of course. It's all for money. They'll take whatever stance will get them.
Well, yeah.
Money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would. It's probably more for clout than money at this point.
Yeah.
And within their social circle.
Yeah, exactly. Good point.
Well, it doesn't help that a lot of them are so isolated to begin with, even before the zombie plague started, that they completely mismeasure what real people think about their product. Right? Oh. These people are very isolated compared to the general population.
Oh, yeah.
So it really distorts their view on what should be marketed and how.
Note that it's only clout within the U.S.
Yeah.
Anywhere else? Oh no, we don't do that.
Well,
but
China.
But that's something else.
Europe.
No,
or not Europe, but Britain.
There's too much China money tied into it, and we all know that. We know what time it is with China. It's just I mean, their money is like permeating every single like entertainment industry. It sucks because you get China the hell out of it, then you got a chance to actually make some positive inroads with changing it back. I want to see somebody, because I remember I was talking about that. We were talking about Red Dawn the other night, me and some other people, and we were comparing the reboot to the other one, where they used North Korea, and I was just like, man, I want to see somebody actually do a reboot of Red Dawn and have the gumption to hang their balls over the fence and use China as the enemy.
Well, they're not going to do that. Look at what they did with the patch and Top Gun, right? Taiwan, the Republic of China, because they want to make sure they can get into that sweet market of the Great Wall. And it's not just about Chinese money infiltrating the studios. The studios just want the money. That's all. So they'll make the edits that they want. Here in the States, they'll espouse and they'll beat the drum of the SJWs. But once they go to China, they'll make all the edits needed in order to get into that market.
Oh yeah! Look at John rolling on that segue.
Man.
Oh, there it is.
John.
We'll get back to Star Wars, but I think we're on a good topic here. So there is some pushback coming from the U.S. government. The head prosecutor here, Bill Barr, gave a statement at the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Museum. I think this was last week. He gave it. Yeah, and it was towards a lot of U.S. businesses, but he did spend a significant amount of time talking about Hollywood and the movie production in the United States and movie production companies. And he made clear, he said, the most important issue for our nation in the world in the 21st century, that is the United States' response to the global ambitions of the Chinese Communist Party. Yep. He says the CCP rules with an iron fist over one of the great ancient civilizations of the world. It seeks to leverage the immense power of productivity and ingenuity of the Chinese people to overthrow the rules-based international system and to make the world safe for dictatorship. And so he went on to describe that Chinese practices as an economic blitzkrieg. He says the People's Republic of China is now engaged in an economic blitzkrieg, an aggressive, orchestrated whole-of-government, indeed whole-of-society campaign to seize the commanding heights of the global economy and to surpass the United States as the world's preeminent power. The ultimate ambition of China's rulers isn't to trade with the United States, it is to raid the United States.
Well, yeah, and he's exactly right about that. Yeah. Now, by the way, John, Toxic Man Flu is trying to get your attention. He says, "Gotta go, guys. John's been ignoring me anyway." And then he said, "Go Hokies."
I thought I referenced him quite a bit tonight. He wasn't making it. He needs to make more hockey references to get my attention.
And then,
whoa.
And then Chris Neville said there's actually news today. U.S. shut down the Houston Chinese consulate to protect American IPs. And yeah, that was
last night.
That was last night.
Yep.
There's in San Francisco right now at the Chinese consulate up there. There is a researcher from China who attempted to enter the U.S. under false credentials to presumably steal IP and tech secrets and stuff, who is hiding there to fight an arrest warrant and extradition thing from the U.S. Like, it's straight out of a movie right now.
It's been like that for a long time. They've been stealing IPs.
No, they've been doing it for a long time, but this person has been identified by our government as trying that. We put out a warrant for them, and now they're hiding in the consulate building.
Well, it's because it's the first time that the government grew a pair and is actually going after it, right? For God's sakes, first time in 25 years since Nixon decided to make the big mistake, and I'll say he made a huge ass mistake, Taiwan all the way. And now we actually have an administration that gives a damn about what's going on and doesn't want to capitulate just because there's a lot of money coming from that part of the world.
Because it's all money that's going to come in the very short term. You'll get, here's your $2 million right up front for this IP. But 10 years, 20 years down the line, when that IP is making $40 billion, and now they've bought the house you're living in, you're kind of screwed. That $2 million doesn't really help.
And it's not only that.
Yeah, well, IPs don't even matter, as we'll get to, as the Attorney General points out. So he specifically went after Hollywood. He says, take Hollywood. Hollywood actors, producers, and directors pride themselves on celebrating freedom and the human spirit. And every year at the Academy Awards, Americans are lectured about how this country falls short of Hollywood's ideals of social justice. But Hollywood now regularly censors its own movies to appease the Chinese Communist Party, the world's most powerful violator of human rights.
Damn right.
This censorship infects...
Quick reminder, they're on the UN Human Rights Council.
Quick reminder, they're committing a genocide akin to the Holocaust.
No.
This censorship infects not only versions of movies that are released in China, but also many that are shown in American theaters to American audiences. So he points out World War Z. He says, for example, the hit movie World War Z depicts a zombie apocalypse caused by a virus. Sounds familiar, huh? The original version of the film reportedly contained a scene with characters speculating that the virus may have originated in China. In the novel, Patient Zero is a boy from Chongqing, which I'm not. Is that a Chinese city or village?
I believe it's a province.
It's a province,
okay,
yeah.
Province. Okay.
Yeah. Hang on, John. I got to do my bit here. All right. So we got to put the tinfoil hat on, folks.
Oh, boy.
I remember.
Tinfoil yarmulke.
Yeah, that's a tinfoil yarmulke.
Over. The UN is globalist headquarters. Telling you right now, folks.
Hey, he made friends with llamas the other day, so he can't be that bad of a person. He can't be that
I agree. But
so
I'm
Barr went
about the whole movie thing, John, and keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, Barr went on, but the studio Paramount Pictures reportedly told producers to delete the reference to China in the hope of landing a Chinese distribution deal. The deal never materialized, so they changed it anyways, though, and they didn't even get the deal that they wanted. He then pointed to Marvel Studios and Doctor Strange. In the Marvel Studios blockbuster Doctor Strange, filmmakers changed the nationality of a major character known as the Ancient One, a Tibetan monk in the comic books, from Tibetan to Celtic. When challenged about this, the screenwriter explained that if you acknowledge that Tibet is a place and that he's Tibetan, you risk alienating 1 billion people. Or he continued, the Chinese government might say, we're not going to show your movie because you decided to get political.
Isn't that great, though? I mean, like, they decided to take out a minority character and put in a white character.
Mm-hmm.
But they're right, because consume.
Yeah.
Right? Shut up, consume, reproduce.
It didn't. Yeah. I think we have that I think we have this article with the screenwriter. His name, it wasn't Derrickson. Who was the director? It was someone else who made those comments. And they made them recently, I think. I think they were either like late last year or early this year.
No, they're in November. I remember that.
It was in November? Okay.
Yeah, I know. I read
That's
that because I was pissed. That was some BS right there. And of course, because you got to ignore another genocide that's going on just so they can get that China bucks.
These are just 2 examples of the many Hollywood films that have been altered one way or another to conform to CCP propaganda. There's the Celtic ancient one there.
And I'm like, I really love Bill Barr because he takes no guff from anybody. He just does his job.
He just kicks down the door like a good lover. I love
it. He's a good AG.
So
he's speaking his mind when it comes to the BS going around in Hollywood because it's absolutely right. It's hypocritical. Hey, we're going to lecture you every award show how much America sucks, and as a Western, how much you suck and fail to meet our standards. But we're going to completely lick the balls of Winnie the Pooh just so we can get some of that money.
I mean,
yeah, Chris Neville says, ask John Boyega about it. Exactly. Minimized him on the Chinese poster.
Wait, where is he? Where is he on the Chinese poster?
There you go. You
can't find him. It's hard to find him.
I wonder why. I wonder why they minimized him so much. Is there something going on in China when it comes to Black Panther?
It reminds me.
Why did they make him a janitor?
Wait, what about the Black Panther? What about that guy?
That movie is just one big white screen for 2 hours.
No, really,
it's a documentary on actual Black Panthers.
See, the thing that really gets me is that for all the
Bagheera is the main star.
For all the people who complain about, for all the Hollywood types who complain about, give us our representation, do this, be our allies, we want this, we want that. I think of Onward, where they made this huge deal about Onward and Infinity War, when they made this huge deal about gay characters, and then they were 2 seconds and cut from the film.
Oh yeah,
and nobody batted an eye. Most activists still praised them for doing it, and then moved on to Warhammer.
Yep.
There you go.
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
I think it was edited out. I think that scene was edited out.
Well, they
I don't know if it was edited out in China. I know it was edited out in some other places. I don't know if they kept it in.
Like Singapore. Yeah. It wasn't. Yeah, I don't think it was consistent through China, but it was in China a little.
Yeah.
And not to like totally derail the subject for a second, but man, full disclosure, I would totally simp for Kaylee McEnany.
Okay, that's totally.
What the heck did I just miss? I go down to eat a pecan swirl and I hear that. What the heck did I miss?
She's gorgeous, bro.
Send a link.
And on that note, National Security Advisor O'Brien offered even more examples in his remarks, but many more scripts likely never see the light of day because writers and producers know not to even test the limits. And that's true. We see this all the time. Script Doctor comes on and tells us about it. Chinese government censors don't need to say a word because Hollywood is doing their work for them. This is a massive propaganda coup for the Chinese Communist Party. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's called the chill effect on speech.
Obvious.
You don't have to do anything. You just set the environment so that way speech is chilled and people have these unspoken rules that they know what lines they can and cannot cross.
Right, and he points out why those lines are in place and why they don't cross them. The story of the film industry's submission to the CCP is a familiar one. In the past 2 decades, China has emerged as the world's largest box office. The CCP has long tightly controlled access to that lucrative market, both through quotas on American films imposed in violation of China's WTO obligations and a strict censorship regime. Increasingly, Hollywood also relies on Chinese money for financing. In 2018, films with Chinese investors accounted for 20% of U.S. box office ticket sales, compared to only 3.8% 5 years earlier. Oh, that's really interesting, isn't it? 5 years earlier, it was only at like less than 4%, and now it's at over 20.
That's
insane.
Right. It is insane. But it also shows you the trajectory entertainment's going, and it sure as heck isn't just with movies, right? We've seen this.
I think there's I would also argue that there's a correlation between Chinese influence and the woke agenda in Hollywood as well.
Well, of course, they love seeing us destroy ourselves. I mean, it goes right within their agenda to weaken the West in general. They want us to destroy ourselves. They don't want us to actually get along because it allows them to continue not only stealing IP resources, but also to extract as much wealth from the West as possible to become a global economic powerhouse. They won't need a land and army. All they have to do is just not pay the loan, not give you the loan, right? That's all they're going to have to do in a couple years.
Oh, well, they don't even have to do that here because they're actually going to own Hollywood, as Barr says here. But in the long run, as with other American industries, the PRC may be less interested in cooperating with Hollywood than co-opting Hollywood and eventually replacing it with its own homegrown production. So this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier. I think, Jorge, you were mentioning it with the IP stuff. They don't care about the IPs because they're going to replace your IPs with their own.
Yeah, they've been doing this for years. I've one a little bit closer to home. I know someone who runs their own business. They create designs, and they had people from China literally steal the design, and they've made hundreds of thousands of dollars off it. And guess what? They can't sue. They can't go to China and be like, "Hey, here's the evidence. This is my IP." All they're told is you deal with it, and you work with us, or you get nothing. Which anything's like maybe a discount on products, and that's it. And so they'll do that, and it's going to be the same thing with the entertainment industry. They're not going to even need to co-op it. They're just going to make their own. Once their industry is big enough, they're just going to make their own movies and completely block out American access once they're done.
And it's not just the small businesses that they're doing this to. Later on here we'll see that they're doing it to Disney. With Shanghai Disney. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but just kind of a tease there. They're actually, Barr is saying that they have actually already targeted Disney, and it basically just ripped off original Disney IP. We'll get to that in a little bit here.
Everything.
To accomplish this, the CCP has been following its usual modus operandi by imposing a quota on American films. The CCP pressures Hollywood studios to form joint ventures with Chinese companies who then gain access to U.S. technology and know-how.
Yep.
As one Chinese film executive recently put it, everything we learned from Hollywood. Notably, in 2019, 8 of the top 10 grossing films in China were produced in China. So they're not Americans. American-made films are not making the big bucks in China.
And this is not even about fair competition. They're literally stealing technology, know-how, and everything and market share to put us at a disadvantage because we don't put a limit on what they bring over here, but they do to us, right?
I would also argue that it seems like we're just giving it away if they're actually signing these joint ventures. That's just absolutely idiotic.
But we're trying. It's kind of like that story of that IT guy from Disney a couple years ago who testified in Congress about training his replacements. Right? They brought a bunch of people from another country, and if you wanted his severance package, you had to literally spend a couple months training his replacement, and that's what Hollywood's doing to themselves for that short-term profit margin. They're training the replacement. They're training the studios in China to do the job that they normally do.
Yep.
Right. Exactly.
Hey, I was going to say Mark 63366 made a comment. He said Tencent just opened their own video game production studio. Yeah, Mark, I actually have a article. If you go back, just search my name. I've got an article I wrote last year about just how big Tencent's reach is on the entertainment industry. It's a really good story. So,
Yeah, Jorge also did a more recent article about Pokemon. Their new Pokemon mobile game is being developed by a Tencent subsidiary. And people aren't happy about it.
Just look.
Rightfully so.
Just look at different games that are being used that are being developed by these companies. They come with a lot of restrictions, microtransactions, and the quality just isn't there.
Well, blame it on the Asians, man. We started that.
We really did.
You know what? Where's my pitchfork? My little otter paws are ready.
You started us on railroads, and we said we can do this. We can get money much easier.
In World War. So what's interesting is he specifically calls out Disney and shows how Hollywood production companies actually used to operate differently back in the day. So he says in World War II, for example, the iconic American company Disney made dozens of public information films for the government, including training videos to educate American sailors on navigation tactics. And there's a good Donald Duck gets drafted video there that you can watch. During the war, over 90% of Disney employees were devoted to the production of training and public information films to boost the morale of America's troops. Disney also designed insignia that appeared on planes, trucks, flight jackets, and other military equipment used by American and Allied forces. I suspect Walt Disney would be disheartened to see how the company he founded deals with the foreign dictatorships of our day. I would argue, from what this Disney museum, like we'll get to this a little bit later, but from what the Disney Museum says, I would argue that he would be furious of how Disney's operating with China now. So interestingly enough, he also says like kind of where Disney began capitulating. He says it was back in 1997 when Disney produced Kundun, which was I think that was a Spielberg film. Oh no, it was a Scorsese film. I think it's a Scorsese film about what's the monk's name? The Tibetan monk, Dalai Lama. So when Disney produced Kunlun, the 1990 Kundun, not Kunlun. Kundun, the 1997 film about the Pharisees' oppression of the Dalai Lama. Right? Yeah, Kunlun, yeah. The CCP, yeah, Mom, there's my... It's coming out there.
Go there. Come on, guys. Hang it up.
The CCP objected to the project and pressured Disney to abandon it. Ultimately, Disney decided that it couldn't let a foreign power dictate whether it would distribute a movie in the United States. But that moment of courage wouldn't last long. After the CCP banned all Disney films in China, the company lobbied hard to regain access. There it is. Amazing Story of the 14th Dalai Lama, Martin Scorsese film. Yeah.
Recommend if everyone wants a good film to watch.
The CEO apologized for Kundun, calling it a stupid mistake. Disney then began courting the PRC to open a $5.5 billion theme park in Shanghai. As part of that deal, Disney agreed to give Chinese government officials a role in management. I don't know if they agreed. They were probably forced to.
Chimps, and so all of them. They're all chimps. XIMPS. GMs. Chimps.
So this is where I was talking about here. Of the park's 11,000 full-time employees, 300 are active members of the Communist Party. They reportedly display hammer and sickle insignia at their desks and attend party lectures during business hours. Like other American companies, Disney may eventually learn the hard way the cost of compromising its principles. I don't think they have any. Soon after Disney opened its park in Shanghai, a Chinese-owned theme park popped up a couple of hundred miles away, featuring characters that, according to news reports, looked suspiciously like Snow White and other Disney trademarks.
I've seen that park. Holy crap. It's a ripoff, dude, like straight up.
This is what I'm talking about. They don't care about IP. They're stealing your shit. Yeah. They're going to take it and tell you to F off. Because what are you going to do? You don't really have any recourse.
But there's no recourse. That short-term profit margin for the stockholders, man. You got to think about the shareholders. Right, you got to get the extra valuation in there. Squeeze every penny that you can, because that's all that matters. Not long-term profitability or long-term market forecasts.
No, it's very obvious what Disney's focused on. Look what they've done with Star Wars. They don't care about the long term. They've abandoned the long term. They literally listened to Kathleen Kennedy to build I don't even know what that freaking town is called that they built Star Wars land on.
Church City.
They abandoned using the original trilogy, which is a time proven winner that people would want to go there. And then what is it? Batu or something, I think is what it's called. I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah.
That's how I'm just
not Tatooine.
Yeah, it's called not Tatooine. So I mean, they just in that shows that they are abandoning tradition. We're seeing them. They're going to rechange what is it called? It's their like log flume, but it's the Song of the South theme. Splash Mountain. They're changing Splash Mountain's Song of the South theme to the to like a Louisiana theme, and I don't even think that makes sense because it's in like some kind of like Adventureland.
Oh, they're doing the Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, Princess and the Frog, the Louisiana-based one, and it's just
one.
It just doesn't even make sense that they're putting it in Adventureland. It makes no sense at all. But yeah, I see Dan Traeger has joined the chat. Thank you for joining us. I see. Thank you. It's good to see you. But yeah, no, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So I do want to point this out because I think this is important. That Jorge put in this article here. According to the Walt Disney Museum blog, Disney was extremely patriotic during World War II. He is quoted as saying, "Tomorrow will be better for as long as America keeps alive the ideals of freedom and a better life." I don't think you can really
they
argue against that statement.
If you go to the Walt Disney Archive Museum in San Francisco, it's a great museum. Everybody should see it. But there's a whole section dedicated to his work in World War II and how patriotic he was and how much he contributed to the war effort, or the morale effort, at least.
Yeah, I think this blog was based off of those museum exhibits that they have.
Yeah, I honestly think this is a long-term plan to solve our energy crisis. Now, hear me out, guys. They want to They want to completely destroy these franchises, right? And so much that they can use the spinning graves of the founders like Gene Roddenberry and Walt Disney to make
perpetual motion.
There you go. That's what this is all is. I mean, we just have to understand what's really going on. They're just trying to start energy.
So I found this was really interesting to me. So Disney wasn't old enough to enlist in World War I. So he actually, I don't know if we have it in here, but he actually forged his birth date. He put it a year earlier, so he could enlist in the Red Cross Ambulance Corps. And he told his daughter Diane, "The things I did during those 11 months I was overseas added up to a lifetime of experience. It was such a valuable experience that I feel that if we have to send our boys into the army, we should send them even younger than we do. I know being on my own at an early age has made me more self-reliant."
Like the Spartans, right?
Talk about patriotism right there. He's literally advocating.
That's definitely true, but also at the same time, I'm not sending 13-year-olds to war. They can't. They can't see over the. They can't see over the tank.
So 13-year-olds did serve during World War II. I mean, they did sign up.
I'm saying now. I'm not ready to send 13-year-olds now.
I don't know. They've been a lot better than before, and they're a little bigger.
Yeah, we'll send the millennials in first before we do that.
Yeah. Someone named Larry is asking, deleted my comment. Really, it looks like Mark is modding and he's asking, what are you talking about? I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about either.
Are you okay?
So, but yeah, so that was I think this was a really important speech that Barr gave, and I'm glad that Jorge was able to write this up and really highlight what he said, because I think what he's saying is really important. I mean, I think a lot of it is what we're kind of covering a lot of this stuff as well, because I do think that a lot of the Chinese influence is what is causing a lot of these Hollywood production studios to especially attack their American fans, push the woke culture crap, and I do think a lot of it comes from Chinese influence over Hollywood and over other parts of our culture as well. So it's good to see someone at that level pushing back against this kind of stuff that we have also been pushing back against since about 5 years. 2015.
Since China opened their borders to us.
Yeah, well, that too. I don't think I was alive then, but I probably would have been.
No. It's like 5 years ago, China changed their laws and allowed for foreign movies to be released.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, not all of us were around for Nixon.
All right, it looks like our mods are handling that Larry thing. Thank you, mods. Appreciate that. All right, let's get back to this George Lucas rumor. I know we took a little detour there. I thought that was that's kind of where the conversation went. So I'm glad we got to talk about that because I did think that was really important to talk about it. That article did really well. I don't know if you saw there at the bottom, but yeah, that article did really well. People were actually really interested in reading it, and I think a lot of people did read it. So if you, I would just use it as a reference too. If you're looking for help in like maybe engaging people about the real threat of Chinese influence in the United States, I think it's a really good resource, and I really really well done on that one, Jorge. All right, so back to George Lucas. This George Lucas rumor from Doomcock. I know this is going to be quite a bit of a jump here, going back to this one. So Doomcock says that there is this was like the third rumor in this video that he did. Man, he was laying it all out in this one. He said, the really big news here is a rumor I received 10 days ago. Disney wants George Lucas to take the reins from Kathleen Kennedy and save Star Wars. Yes, my friends. 10 days ago, I received the following rumor from my source. Disney investors have been trying to get George Lucas back for a few months now. Up until a few weeks ago, Lucas would change the subject when asked about returning, avoiding the topic, or responding in a non-committal way. Well, about 3 weeks ago, they asked Lucas point blank, what would it take to get you on board with heading up Lucasfilm? The head of Jango Fett, obviously. Allegedly, George Lucas said this: if I were to return, I have 4 conditions that would have to be met. Condition 1, I get to make my sequel trilogy. Condition 2, I have full creative power until I decide to hand it off. Condition 3, Kathleen Kennedy is gone. Condition 4, that's the head of Jango Fett there. Condition 4, she's built a clone army. Condition 4, Disney agrees to never ever mess with the original trilogy, leaving it untouched. Well, they've already messed with it in those stupid short anime films. He then stated reportedly Lucas closed out the communication with none of this is negotiable. My sources were told that the response to George's ultimatum was, so when do you start?
If only, I hope.
I think this is the one where you take the truckload of salt again. And it's also believe it when I see it on this one. Believe it when I see it. He then went and detailed a little bit of that's a cute little dog there. I like my dogs a little bigger though. He did go and tell what the structure of Lucasfilm would be. Dogs gonna dog, yeah they are. Sorry, I just like that ad. I'm informed the current
days.
What's that, Spencer?
I said that's the kind of content we need these days.
Oh yeah. I am informed the current proposal is George Lucas would be the head of Lucasfilm. Jon Favreau would be put in charge of developing original content for Disney Plus, while a third, as yet unnamed person, would be put in charge of movie production. All of these people ultimately, under the authority of Lucas, was set in motion a new era of Star Wars, the Star Wars verse. Not the most inspired name I know, but that's how allegedly it's being referred to internally at the moment. Mark Lacerth is saying that sounds like a Lucas deepfake. Yeah, I kind of agree. Yahtzee says if you light up a candle, turn off the lights, look in the mirror, and say Kathleen Kennedy 5 times, she'll appear behind you and force you to watch the sequel trilogy.
Probably not wrong.
I don't have any plans of ever doing that, Yahtzee, so I think I'm okay on that part. So I found this was interesting too. So Doomcock actually did provide another source that contradicts this rumor. His other source that says that that Lucas would be returning. So this source says a brand new source, a source who claims. So Doomcock says it's a brand new source who claims to actually know Lucas, and I'm not going to say anything about the source. Tell me that Lucas is happy. I'm not going to say anything more about. I think I probably misquoted it. It should be anything more. Tells me that Lucas is happy with his life at the moment.
That sounds like Lucas.
Yeah, I think from everything I've seen, he seems pretty content, happy to just kind of be away from all of the craziness of Hollywood and who wouldn't, with all the just batshit insane people that industry attracts. and seemingly puts at the forefront. That's not to say that there aren't good people there. As Script Doctor is an example of, and he can attest to, there are a lot of good people in the industry. It's just that they're overshadowed by the batshit insane crazy ones.
Well, they're also part of the silent majority right now. They can't say anything, or they know they'll get blacklisted. Man, it's stupid. That's why oh God, we heard. I think we heard, what was it, a couple weeks ago, that Antonio Sabato Jr. was actually, looking into seeing what he needed to do to start an actual, sort of like more traditional value-oriented movie studio and start making projects out of there. And it would be more of a conservative values-leaning movie studio, which will probably make some good art. But
that reminds me of there's that company that studio that's recently put out a bunch of Christian centered films into like big theaters. Do you know how those have been doing?
It's called Vixen.
Mm-hmm.
Are they doing well?
I think Don made that up. I don't think a Christian
I know who he's
production
talking
studio
about.
would be called Vixen.
I know who he's talking about.
Oh boy.
I know what he's talking about. I still want to know if they're doing well.
I don't know. I'm not up to date on that. I don't know.
I mean, if they make studios that are at least a challenge to the narrative right now, you may see a bit of a leveling out, but it has to be something. There needs to be a studio that comes out that will make go back to like traditional formulas and kind of not be afraid to do that. I would like to see that happen, but
this is what I think is going to be the big change, though. I don't think it's going to be people creating like production studios. I think it's going to be people like Astartes on YouTube who are doing their own animation and putting it up on YouTube, and you're going to start seeing people crowdfund stuff like Astartes and being able to get them more money to be able to create more more solid product like that. And I think that's where you're going to see a huge game change is when you start seeing producers just kind of coming out, doing stuff themselves, not having to rely on Chinese money, not having to rely on big Hollywood production studios. And I will argue that I think Jon Favreau is actually leading that. So, hold on, Spencer.
Yeah.
I will argue that I think Jon Favreau is actually developing the technology that will make it even more accessible for people to do that with The Mandalorian, because he's doing that all in a studio, and it seemingly is done at, from what I understand, very cheaply. So if they can actually get that to where you can do that in your home, look out. I mean, Kevin James is already kind of doing it on YouTube. He's doing his own like short skits and stuff. That I think the production quality is still good. I think that's where you're going to see a huge change, and I think you're already seeing it. I think a lot of these people with or COVID is actually pushing it to the forefront. I mean, I know people like to rag on Brie Larson, but I mean, she's starting a YouTube channel. These people are trying to are going out on their own and doing their thing, and I think you're going to see that with people creating films, creating animated films. As well, I think it's coming. Dan is saying if Apple has their way, that will be the new business model. I definitely think that's. I mean, I think that's on the way. I mean, I think even Gary's saying it. Streamers. It's not just going to be people here on YouTube. I mean, look at Twitch. I mean, people watching video games is huge now. Who would have said that 10 years ago?
Well, ESPN just signed a big, huge deal with Twitch to supply sports content, and there's other sports networks that joined in. There's actually
Fortnite is broadcasting like films and stuff in game.
Yeah,
bizarre.
Yeah, there's actually
even if we talk trash on it, I know none of us really agreed with it. They're also hosting like big social documentaries in them. It's so weird.
Yeah, I think they do concerts too. I think I saw some kind of like.
They did Travis Scott, a rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did like a type guy too.
Yeah, but there's gonna be like Twitch made its own category for like actual like sports. So there's gonna be like football, baseball, basketball on there now, and you know
that worries me so much because that's Amazon, and Amazon is like taking everything over.
Well, yeah, I mean they definitely. It's big money deals, John, because like I said, ESPN got on board. I think CBS is providing some stuff. I don't know if NFL Network is or not, but there's a whole bunch of stuff under that umbrella that's going to be populating content for that sports category on Twitch. So.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think live sports are in a very rocky area right now, not just with the product on the field, but with everything else that they're doing. I mean, don't even get me started on the Redskins.
Oh, dude. Well, it got
started there. No. But I don't want to get started.
You're gonna go crazy once you see Colin Kaepernick on the freaking ESPN thing.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Justice, but hey, Disney, I'll gladly work for you.
Yeah. So Doomcock says, I'm happy with what Disney has done with Star Wars. Does it keep him up at night like it keeps us up? The source claims no, it doesn't. He'd like it to be fixed, yes, but this source expressed skepticism that Lucas would want that much responsibility at this point in his life. Oh,
yeah.
Look at that, man. That is Lando right there.
That's Lando.
Oh yeah.
That
is Lando. Look at it, man. Look at that. That smile just like makes you melt, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. It really does.
Look at that Colt 45.
In the opinion of this news source, Lucas might even write scripts for these new endeavors, but wouldn't want to be personally involved. And I think that's kind of what we've seen from a lot of the trade reports with Lucas. And he likes going to the set visits with the Mandalorian. He likes seeing the Baby Yoda, seeing all the new stuff that they were doing. But I don't think he really wanted to get super involved. So this is what so while on the other hand, the source I cited previously tells me Lucas made 4 conditions for his return, and those who were negotiating with him on Disney's behalf agreed to those conditions and asked when you can start. This other source disagreed. So that's really interesting. We get conflicting sources, which could mean that we know that there's a brewing civil war, so one could be coming from the other side. But yeah, I think. I don't know. For this stuff, I have to believe it till I see it. For me, personally.
Yeah, same here. It sounds too good to be true, and I also don't know if Lucas is going to be that like aggressive. I honestly can't imagine Lucas himself saying, "Get Kennedy the hell out of here, or I'm not coming back." That's just really hard for me to believe. Maybe.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be that type of like. Cold, hard, calculating businessman.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he is, but I don't feel like no one who says that really.
I mean, he is a smart businessman. He sold Star Wars to Disney, and now he's just sitting on piles of cash every day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, piles of Disney stock. I don't know if he's sold it to get the cash. But you know he's got that.
Let's just say if he was that definitive of a person, this film would have been a little more structured and organized when he.
Sure.
Disney. From what I understand, Lucasfilm before was just all over the place. Like you had the LucasArts over there. They didn't know what was going on at Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm had to send a guy over to LucasArts to tell them what they do for the video games. It was crazy.
Oh,
structured.
J.W. Rinsler was kind of saying it was a lot more autonomous, and he seemed like that kind of worked for them. It might seem like it's disorganized, but it also allowed them to be more creative as well. And then they would only have to maybe like make some changes. So I don't know, because I listened to that podcast and he was actually praising the autonomous nature of the licensing department. Under
really worked
Lucas.
Beforehand, but now with Disney, because they want such tight control over it, you're not going to get that freedom. I mean, just look at what happened to freaking JJ. the guy they invited back.
Yeah. All right. So I saw this question while we were talking. I wanted to get to it. Our good friend Noel on the TARDIS Zone official YouTube channel. He was watching us on Twitter and then moved over to YouTube. Appreciate you joining us on both platforms, Noel. He asked, did you guys read the article on Pink News about Nightmare on Elm Street? I have not seen that, so let's pull that up.
What?
See what is going on with Nightmare on Elm Street from Pink News.
Throwing a stool at the wall.
So Pink News is a... Oh, what is going on here? Pink News is a...
Phishing site.
Oh, God.
Don't go to pinknews.com. Go to pinknews.co.uk. That is the Pink News. Don't go to pinknews.com.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you go to that one, I think it's that one's the LGBT Mafia, isn't it? They run that site.
Pink News UK is part of the Alphabet team. Yes.
Oh, jeez.
So here it is. Oh my! Here we go. Oh, we're gonna have to do an article on this. Who wants to take this one for tomorrow?
The Mafia's coming for me. Hey, I love lesbians.
Gay Freddy Krueger actor wants a queer Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Are you serious right now? Get out of here with that.
What?
The actor who played the horror movie villain Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street wants a queer remake of the classic film. Robert Englund played Krueger in the 1984 horror classic and went on to reprise the role in a number of sequels. The actor told 2Fab that the secret to the success of Nightmare on Elm Street was that it was all about, quote, the loss of innocence, and said any remakes would have to capture that essence while also adapting for a changed world. He also referenced the first sequel to the classic horror film Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, blah, blah, blah. England said a remake can only work if it deals with middle American kids who are co-opted by evil. Well, Hollywood co-ops them, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, they already did that once. Yeah. They did Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and that was like, just like, nope.
Freddy Krueger actress as a queer remake would work due to openness around gender and sexuality today. But because our society now is more damaged because of the opioid crisis, because of incredible diverse, because of openness now with gender and sexuality, those kids now have to be different than the kids from the original Nightmare, and someone has to write a different batch of kids, and Freddy needs to be a different kind of evil. Dude, this is like this is actually crazy. Like,
yeah. So what? He's just gonna run around and kill straight people?
No, I'm like, I have other, like, what's coming to my mind is just kind of like bizarre. Like, why would you even suggest this?
My thing is, why do you even need to suggest like a quote unquote gay remake? Why don't you just make another sequel and one of the characters happens to be gay? Like,
hey, George.
To me, what he's suggesting has something to do that rhymes with brooming.
Yeah. Hey, Jorge.
Oh.
You know, remember one of Freddy's classic lines? You know, how sweet fresh meat. Oh, now it's got a new meaning now.
Oh, dude, like those numbers
rhymes with brooming.
He's gonna be like, how sweet fresh meat.
Oh my God.
Freddy is a blue check mark.
This is so terrible. Does he not remember Dream Warriors? There was already discussion about drugs. You know, Tanya White, I believe was the character's name, the one who was in rehab.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, what the living shit!
This is Roman Polanski area right here. Freaking
yes. His evil needs to be. He needs to toy with what they like in the culture. I think it would be really fun to have Freddy play with one kid who's gay.
Oh boy!
Right.
If they redid,
he's a freaking
phrase.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna knock on religion.
If they redid Nightmare 2, for instance, and really deal with the subtext, Freddy toying with that boy's sexuality.
Oh my gosh.
I've noticed this with British sites. They never close, like at least the Daily Mail, they never close out the quote. They do it here, but they didn't do it here.
That's so weird. I noticed that too, especially with all the Johnny Depp news.
Yeah. Because that's happening in the UK. So they're like more primary sources over there. Plus the Daily Mail is usually really good on that stuff.
I'll be right back, guys. I got to reboot really quick.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be here.
No, I can imagine how they're gonna redo that, John. Instead of claws in his hands, he's gonna have
no.
You're gonna have nail polish.
I don't even want to imagine what you're going to say.
You know exactly what
All I'm
saying.
going to say is that's how I'm going to make my Cyberpunk 2077 character look now.
Oh my god! Oh, there's gonna be so many memes from that game. Oh gosh, someone's got to do that story too. I wasn't able to get to it today.
Oh,
So whoever wants to do that one, claim that one for tomorrow. Or I'll just do it tomorrow. We'll figure it out. But the fact that we're much more comfortable with that now, I think it would be really fun to have Freddy play with one kid who's gay. Maybe one boy is not. Play with them, tempt them, force them out of the closet or back into the closet, and we can do that.
Gosh.
Yes, we definitely need to do this article. Holy crap, dude! Thank you for sharing this with us, Noelle. This is just, I mean, wow. I don't even like. I mean. Whew.
I mean, it already played with some pretty messed up, undertones, and especially in the first movie, and that was the great thing about the movie. They didn't have to go out there and be like, "Yo, Freddy liked kids," right?
Yeah, this is big.
You
Chris Neville hits it right there, nail on the head there.
That's gonna be a lot of Hollywood.
Exactly what came to my mind.
That's kind of funny.
Exactly what came to my mind.
I don't think happened.
Deviant Porg says Freddy and Jason as a couple hunting Republicans. Nightmare is so old. Johnny Depp could play Freddy Krueger now.
Oh, he kind of looks like he's got the makeup.
We have to catch up on the chat here. There's a lot of chat going. Noelle's like the laughing is hilarious. He's back on Twitter now. He's saying the laughing is hilarious. I think that was Drew and Don. Maybe the fire burned his wee off, so he transitions to female.
Francesca Kruger. There you go. We just hit the trifecta.
Oh my
John
god!
Says Nightmare had 4 movies, 2 TV series, and a movie reboot, and 4 more movies. It's kind of baked, and Tice of leftovers by now. I don't know if there was a spelling error there or not. Is Tice a word? I don't recognize that word. It probably is, and I just don't know it. Oh, Noelle's back on YouTube. This movie won't work, and think about it. These SJWs are obsessed. There will be a campaign to try and get this movie made, guaranteed now.
Oh, yeah.
When you have England coming out and saying it, it's going to happen. So, yeah, we'll definitely have someone cover this tomorrow. Maybe Jorge does that one before he does his Ice Cube story.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that first, then, just so that way I can, give myself something, to dream about tonight and wake up screaming multiple times.
At least the Ice Cube one, you can at least that's like a palate cleanser, right? Because it's an Ice Cube. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean it just clears everything up, right? Right before I take the dirt nap from this.
Yeah, right before you write about black lesbian Frederica.
Oh my God, Frederica Kruger with her dachi claws.
That could be. This could actually be an interesting concept. Freddy versus Jason versus the Outrage Mob. Maybe
cool.
Cancel a night.
Maybe what happens is that what is that? What is that noise, Don? What did you have in your hand?
Don't worry.
I found it. I knew what you guys were lying to me.
Don was making the Freddy claws, man. We got to get ready.
I do like the idea about this Freddy versus Jason versus Outrage Mob. The whole idea would be that so like Freddy is supposed to be the guy of nightmares, but when he actually goes against the Outrage Mob, they're so evil they freak Freddy out.
They cancel Freddy. He's no longer scary.
Dude, he returns.
He's not scary. Yeah.
More palatable.
Freddy versus Twitter, exactly. Freddy versus Twitter, yes.
It's just 90 minutes of him reading his feed.
and slowly fading out.
There you go.
Reading his feed. Sorry, I don't know why that's so funny.
This is great, guys. But this is.
I knew this was going to be a great stream tonight. I just had a feeling, man. This is our best stream so far, man.
Hey,
thank you all for joining us. Having a blast.
Thank you, guys and gals. And Freddie.
All right. What's next on the docket here? I think Dynamite maybe. Or
Oh God.
do you want to do Dynamite? Do you want to do? What do you want to do?
We should probably do Dynamite.
What's the chat want to talk about?
That's a Dynamite story.
Let's talk about the destruction of the comic book industry.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
Well, it seems like you guys are all about Dynamite, so I guess that's what we'll go with.
I mean,
I think they did try to reboot that show.
Yeah, I think.
All right, so if you haven't been paying attention to comics news in the past couple days, I guess it started on Sunday, I think. Basically, Dynamite was announced a variant cover for Vengeance of Vampirella #1, featuring, I don't know who the artist is. I don't think Cecil does the art. But it was basically just a ripoff or a spoof. I don't want to say ripoff. That's not the right word. It was a spoof of Cecil's cash grab cover. But instead of like whoever the two women were on cash grab, he's sandwiched. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's instead of the two random women, he's sandwiched by Vampirella and Red Sonja, and he's like got his hands up in the air. It's literally like almost the same cover, just with Red Sonja and Vampirella. And Dynamite promoted it on their Twitter account, and that caused our Kwanzaa. I don't know how to say his last name. I don't know. I'm not even going to try and say it, but his name's Kwanzaa. He went on a lengthy Twitter rant attacking Dynamite, and then interestingly enough, I think most of his attack wasn't even really at Dynamite. It was actually towards other comic book professionals, trying to shame them into also attacking Dynamite. So he's basically just trying to stir up a cancel culture mob. At least that's what it looked like to me. Yep. So Chris Nelson says Donald DeLay is the artist. I saw Donald was the artist on the actual cash grab comic. I wasn't sure if he was the cover artist as well. Okay, so that makes sense. Donald DeLay is the artist. Thank you for that, Chris. Appreciate that. So he went on this like huge rant, like just trying to target, like he was making fun of the people who like Tom King and Scott Snyder and all, like Jim Zub and all the guys who posted their little sexual assault meme or whatever. So he like made his own meme so they could like go after Dynamite with, and it didn't really take off. People weren't really responding to it until maybe a day or two later. I think I would honestly argue that I didn't see anyone really responding to it until Gail Simone commented on it, and then you had the Screen Rant article with everyone that's with kind of collecting a number of people as well. And Simone was definitely involved in it. She responded to the original thread from Kwanzaa, calling on people to do that. And then she says, like, I'm not being silent, because he was like, people need to stop being silent. Try and say that like I'm surprised. What am I surprised by? I don't know what I'm surprised. I'm not surprised by that. I've been covering these people for 5 years. I'm not surprised by anything they do. Their tactics are extremely obvious. They do the same thing every time. They do the same things every time. They don't change.
It's literally the same tactics. Yeah.
Well, yeah. You know that it hit those like nice little private message boards that the Whisper Network had, and then Gail came out and did her thing, and then of course, look what happened.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm definitely not surprised that Kwanzaa went on a rant. I know he was actually giving Spencer a hard time for using his Twitter handle instead of his name.
That was the dumbest thing.
I couldn't believe that. I was like, okay, this guy's. I was actually shocked he was responding to us.
He was.
I get that now, Don.
He was responding to us through a block. He blocked us. He started replying to us, and the only reason I saw is because other people were replying to him, and who didn't have me blocked, so I saw their responses.
Right, I saw you responding, and that's why I'm like, okay, now I need to go to my Internet Explorer and see.
Yep, and that's what I did too. Open up the old browser.
Yeah, it's like blocking doesn't stop us from seeing what you tweet. Really, like it doesn't. Sorry, you have to like private your account if you're actually going to try and stop that.
Don't tell them the secret, John.
They already know it. It's very obvious. They just don't do it anyways.
They don't get attention.
I mean, being blocked is it's just a virtue signal for them. They don't like.
That's exactly right, Chris Neville. Gail whipped us with cellulite.
So I'm still putting ice on my eye right now.
So Gail said her thing like, I'm not staying silent. I'm not gonna be on your timeline. I'm still I'm mourning or something like that. Yeah. And like some people were trying to say like she was saying like she wasn't being involved. It's like no, she's not. She literally said like she's not being silent. So she's obviously saying being silent.
My belly is loud.
Yeah. So we got into this with like this Vicky person on Twitter. They triggered me hard because they were basically calling me a liar.
Yeah.
With my headline in the article. So that just triggers me. I don't like being called a liar.
Are you talking?
Normal people don't like being called a liar, right?
It's that Vicky person, right, John?
Yeah, the Vicky person.
Yeah, she's a troll. She's a troll.
So, she kept changing her argument. It was really weird.
Yeah.
I figured it out. I figured out just to ignore.
Yeah, you caught her on that really hard.
Yeah. But so that was after he published it. But then you had like Mark Russell, you had Christian Ward, a bunch of people who had worked for Dynamite in the past or were working for them now, basically saying they weren't going to work for them anymore because of Comicsgate Association. Mainly with Cecil being involved. What's interesting is that they, I think Ethan talked about this on his live stream, and we had it in our original story, is that that Barucci, who's the CEO and publisher of Dynamite, he made the mistake of promoting the campaign on the Dynamite Twitter comics handle, which I don't know. I mean, that's kind of odd to me. Maybe, and he also promoted the variant cover through Dynamite's Indiegogo instead of Cecil. Maybe Cecil doing it. So I don't know. I think the mistake he really made was that he pulled the cover. I don't think promoting it on your Twitter handle is really a mistake, and I don't think putting it on your Indiegogo is a mistake. It's pulling the cover.
I think what he was trying to do, honestly, was extend it, like Don and I were talking to Gail about. He was trying to extend an olive branch by promoting it from the Dynamite Twitter and all the official accounts. It's kind of showing, like, look, Comicsgate, or at least Cecil, is a creator who has fans that, obviously want to buy his work. So let's work together. Let's sell some comics.
Yeah, I'm more on the Ethan idea on that, where he was saying he just didn't even think about it, and which is probably more the case. I don't think he thought about I don't think he's making those kind of. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, too, we're the ones spending the money on the comics.
Yeah,
it's not the freaking Gen Zs. It's not the gender politikers. It's us. It's the dudes that have been buying it shit since '90s.
So I think that also comes into play. I think Ethan also talked about this too, and he said that this was the reason why he would no longer be doing business with Dynamite and Nick, is that he has massive weak points that they can attack him from, and then one of those weak points is the licensed IPs that he has. I don't think he referenced anyone, and we talked about this a little bit in pre-show, but they have a ton of IPs. If you go to their website, let's actually pull it up right now. And it doesn't say like that these are like
it's all the half-naked women, from what we understood, right?
That's honestly
there's a little bit more than that, but yeah.
Not that it's a bad thing. It's a good.
Go to their website. So here, I already had this page pulled up. So these are all their. What is Don laughing at? Is he laughing at something in the chat? There's a browser plugin for that. What are you laughing at? Oh, I don't see any food around you, Don. You have to have the.
You gotta go to Sam's and prepare and go get some cheese platters going.
It requires a master ball to catch that one. So if you go to their characters page here, like, so they have Highlander. Connor McLeod is on there. I assume that's a license. They got Buck Rogers, Ash Williams, Ash vs. Evil Dead license. I think Dracula is anyone can do Dracula now. But yeah, Deja Thoris is there that's John Carter. I think that's a Disney IP, right? So Disney has yeah. Game of Thrones, they have the Game of Thrones license. Evil Ernie, that's a horror. Flash Gordon.
Evil Ernie's awesome. Yeah.
So I mean, they have a lot of their characters here are. What was that, Spencer? Man with No Name. Yeah. Man with No Name. Painkiller Jane. Red Sonja, obviously. RoboCop. They have the RoboCop. Sherlock Holmes. Which I think Sherlock Holmes is.
That might be
Terminator.
Yeah, I think Sherlock Holmes is public. Yeah, Terminator is there. So they have the Stargate, Bionic Man, Green Hornet, Bionic Woman, The Boys. I don't know if the boys. So like, see, I'm not sure if all.
Theirs. I think that's theirs.
Yeah, I think that might be a property that they own. The Expendables is obviously a licensed. Dynamite, I don't think has that anymore. Still that before. Indiegogo campaign for Expendables Go to Hell running right now. But Lone Ranger is another one. I don't know if that's public domain. Shadow, that's definitely not public domain. Vampirella, Green Hornet. There's Warlord of Mars. Is that John Carter? They call him Warlord of... That's why I didn't see him, because they called him Warlord of Mars instead of John.
Oh, wow. Voltron.
Voltron is there, Xena and Zorro as well. So they have a lot of potentially properties that are licensed.
Those are pretty good.
Dang.
Which
that's
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's
so that's what Ethan's talking about when he has a lot of weak points, and like those are all potential weak points where people like Gail can go after. I mean, Gail has worked with Dynamite before. She wrote a lot of Red Sonja. So she probably is in contact with Red Sonja IP holders, knows people there. These other creators have probably been in contact with license holders and could also potentially apply pressure. What they do. They probably are telling. I'm not saying that they did this, but that is a possibility. And that's kind of what Ethan was hinting at in his video.
Yeah.
Dude, hostages.
The Whisper Network lives to sabotage projects. That's their thing. So I am not surprised one bit.
And I would say this actually, I would argue that this looks like it has been a win for them. And I mean, we saw it looked like something happened where they suspended Cecil's big cover campaign for the variant cover on Indiegogo, and then all of the Dynamite Indiegogo campaigns were put under review. So who knows what actually happened there. Mindy Wheeler told me that she thinks that they were all put under review because of the Cecil's campaign. Because there were so many people were asking for so many refunds, so they just put a pause in all of them.
That's probably what I would have assumed.
That's what she speculated. That she doesn't know for sure. She never got any official contact. That's what she let me know about that. And then just today, our OC Steve, I don't know if he's still in the chat. If you're still there, OC Steve, gave us a good tip on they canceled so they also have James Bond. I don't know why James Bond isn't shown on here,
like the first one,
but they also have the James Bond license, or they did. Who knows if they still do now.
It doesn't matter if they get all of their licenses pulled. They've got ARBB hamsters. Unironically, that sounds like the best thing I've ever
They're going to take on the Rats of Nim.
Dude, I'd watch that. That's the expanded universe we need.
Yeah. Deviant Porky saying they can make Xenoverse Flash Gordon where they're in for. Well, that might have been an announcement that we might have gotten at this Comic-Con at home, but they canceled their panels. They canceled their James Bond panel, and they canceled a crossover announcement panel where they were going to announce 2 crossovers. So, Chris Neville saying Vida Ayala was on James Bond. Here, we can just look at the titles here. I think I had it, actually. I don't want that one. I was just looking at some of the James Bond.
begins.
Yeah, I was talking before the show. I was talking about this. Like, just look at these covers, man. These are crappy. Like, that one looks decent. Okay, that one's actually not too bad. It's like some rare Like, come on, that's like a rare cover. The James Bond isn't even on this cover. James Bond not on the cover. Not on the cover. That one's okay.
I kind of get what they're going. That's a kind of nice one.
The ship or the
ship
one is cool, but James Bond's not on it.
Yeah. I kind of get like the pulp feeling they're going for, but it doesn't. That's not what covers should kind of aim for. Covers are supposed to pull you in.
Yeah,
they're what is the word that they use in all those like curb appeal? Your
curb
cover is your curb appeal.
Yeah.
And like, okay, this one, yes, this screams James
that
Bond.
One's
to me.
cool.
Like, that screams James Bond. Who is this guy? I don't even like. Is that James Bond? I don't even know who. Like this. What is this?
That looks like Dalton's version.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't look like James Bond to me. You can't even tell because the covers are so dark and they're in shadow. You can see the guy. This is
That
a
one's
James.
cool.
That screams James Bond. But yeah, we just went through a bunch of James Bond covers and like there was like 2 or 3 that even look like James Bond. But I'm going on a tangent here. But yeah, so they canceled because I'm sorry. When I was looking that up, I was just like, it doesn't even look like James Bond. But so they canceled these announcements. So my guess, that to me, and this is pure speculation, I don't have any inside knowledge on this, is that Ethan's kind of comments about the IPs being under attack is true because both those panels seemingly were probably licensed IP crossovers that they were going to do, and they canceled both those panels, which means they might have gotten pressure from those IP holders all over a variant cover, which is absolutely absurd. Take it away, Don.
All the mainstream sites are dragging Dynamite through the mud, despite Dynamite canceling the cover with Cecil, because working with Comic Date or whatever. Either way, they would have gotten dragged through the mud. So why not continue to work with Cecil? Why not continue to work with people in the Comic Date? Because the left was going to take you out anyway. Yeah. And it just seems like now they're getting hit from the left and the right. They're getting hit from the center too. There's no escape.
Yeah. Well, Comicsgate was a good buffer. Working with Comicsgate was a really good buffer. And
because we got the monies.
And for them to shy away from that, it's just stupid. Because right now, like, look, there's a ton of Comicsgate books that are great, that are like just and I'm not even talking about Ethan stuff. I mean, like Brian Kriskow, Six Gun Gorillas, really good. My other friend Drew that does Captain Love, like his stuff's good. There's just a lot of projects that are really, really good out there right now. And, for them to just shy away from that's stupid because they're turning down money. Like Don.
Well, it's not even just turning down money. It's appealing to a base that, first off, had no intention of buying these comics. Are you kidding me? These people would have never bought Vampirella or Red Sonja. Half of them think they're problematic just from the jump. And that's just that's most of the problem. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I heard something upstairs.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They think it's problematic, so therefore, they're like, well, whatever, and it's it's stupidity.
Yeah, so in the meantime, Cecil's campaign just broke over $200,000.
$30,000 in like the last day.
Yeah, so he's killing it. I know that Peter Samedi, he's probably the last bastion of like big distributor now that can, that hasn't denounced working with people who are associated with Comicsgate. And then freaking Ethan Van Sciver with the Cyberfrogs killing it as well.
What's
millions?
What are the Brewsters? What's their imprint that they're releasing in like Walmart and like Red Rooster goes through it?
Allegiance Arts.
Allegiance Arts, yeah.
They have Bass Reeves, Norris Saga, Futurists, and Red Rooster. I think are the 4 titles, and I think they're on issue 2 right now. I went to my Walmart; they didn't have them. It wasn't out there though. They had the first ones, but
they
haven't put out the thing for the second one yet.
Gale saw them and had to fight back, saying absolute lies, and had to compliment them.
When was that?
That was right at the very start of the little spat we had the other day. She had a thread going about how she went to a Walmart and she saw the Brett Weister's display, and she was commenting about how, wow, this is some pretty, like, it could be better placement, but it is better placement than I've seen for DC Comics. If you read it, it's seething. Like she's fighting back, like the fact that she has to compliment them.
I mean, the Bass Reeves comic was one of the best comics I've read in a long time. I really enjoyed it. It was really good. You've
been raving about that for a while. I've been meaning to check that out.
Well, I think I'm gonna have to order the second one online, so it just delivers. I saw that Mark 63366 says, "I'm pissed I backed Miss Fury now." I will say I did back Miss Fury as well, and I previously backed. I think I previously backed his she as well. I don't. I'm not pissed about that. Billy Tucci's a great guy. I met him at New York Comic Con. He's a huge Islanders fan.
The worst.
Little. No, the Pittsburgh is the worst. Not the Islanders. Pittsburgh is the worst.
I kind of dislike the Celtics. The Bruins a lot.
Oh, the Bruins, Boston.
Boston.
Why's that? Are you a Chicago fan or a Montreal fan?
No, that I am a Blackhawks fan.
You are a Black. Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. The Blackhawks and Montreal, I think, are the two big rivalries with Boston. Yeah. I think there might be a big rivalry with Toronto, maybe a little bit too, because those original 6 teams have those. Yeah,
the original 6 teams, but I feel like that one never was really explored. But that's for bounding into sports.
Yeah, we'll launch that sometime later. Yeah, without respect, we reject. I see on that one. It's like Billy didn't respect you though, and neither did Maria. So I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at. That obviously, as says, it's a personal decision. I'm not trying to change your mind. Yeah, I saw that too, Chris. That was trending. I don't know if that's true or not. The DC Sentinels. I saw the memes going around. They were actually great. Don would have loved them. All the X-Men memes with the Sentinels just like crushing people.
I would be so in for that.
Yeah, I think to Hilliam, I think he might still have the She graphic novel is on in demand. Jorge might have to speak to that. I don't know if he's still with us right now or if he's.
No, I'm still writing my script for Freddy Krueger right now.
Oh,
or I mean Franziska Krueger. Yeah.
Do you know if the new She still is in demand on Indiegogo?
Oh, let me actually take a look because
I'm not sure.
I bought that a while ago. Oh my god.
Well, you backed it, right? You haven't gotten it yet though.
Yeah, I backed it. I haven't gotten it yet. I don't know what the heck's going on. If someone let me know.
He's been sending updates pretty regularly on it. I know I see them. I just don't read them.
Here it is.
I actually think Martina Marcota's book is going to do really well. Lady Alchemy.
Yeah, that book's been around. I think she had some kind of dispute with an artist or something like that, with a falling out. But yeah, I haven't really followed up on that. I know she was going. I know we covered her when like Chase Bank was like refusing to do business with her and stuff like that. It was absolutely insane. John Mull says cancel culture sounds like a weird church lady parody. I don't think any church would promote them. Yeah, Chris says as long as Martinez no artist doesn't flake out. All right, I do want to. I don't know. Did we kind of cover where we're at with Dynamite? I don't think there's anything new They haven't really made any responses. It looks like they're still trying to get their ducks in order. They're canceling stuff, so I'm sure we'll find out more as time goes on as we follow that story. All right, I wanted to talk about Warhammer because I do think that's really important in what's happening right now. We're seeing a fan base fight back to save their hobby, and they have a pretty. I think they have a pretty good leader. Oh, Morella Art 88, thank you for joining us. I see a Kamen Rider Kabuto icon. Yeah, that's Spencer there, huh?
That's me.
That right? Did I say that right?
You did. You got it 100% right.
Yes. Sweet.
Send it, John.
I'm gonna be promoted in upwards in the ranks of the Black Templars. So there's actually quite a bit of Warhammer news this week. We had like 2 fan videos come out. One
made.
Oh my god,
yes,
they were awesome.
Pretty well made.
Dude, better than Hollywood. Better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These Warhammer fan videos are fantastic. But so if you haven't watched the Astartes stuff, you should definitely watch his stuff. He's got the Astartes vs. Psyker video up. That is super good. Super good. There's like no dialogue, but you don't need dialogue because it's just amazing. And then so we got the first one was, I don't remember the name right now off the top of my head. But it was an Eldar story, and it was about these Eldar who abandoned their main Eldar civilization that falls to Slanesh, the god of what is he? He's like what is he the god of? Or I think it's a woman. They call her a woman. It's like
the lust one, right?
Yeah, it's like lust, degeneracy, and all like. Greed.
Yeah, she normally that god normally takes the form of a female.
Right. Okay. I'm not super familiar with the Warhammer lore. I mean, I have read some of the Horus Heresy stuff, and I do read some of the comics and graphic novels, but I'm not like.
Here, I'm not going to try to pronounce the name. I'll just put it on. There you go.
Where did you put it?
In the YouTube chat.
Oh, I have a 10-second delay.
I'll count
through
you
StreamYard. Well, if I try and usually I would try and save that with Slanesh. Yeah, that's how. Yeah. All right. Anyways, so there's a really cool video featuring the Eldar. And they're like these. I think they had. I forget what they were called. They're like these green guys. They like move super fast. And it looks like they were taking out some kind of Space Marine chapter. I didn't recognize the logo. I went through a database that has all the logos, and that logo wasn't in the database. So I'm not sure which Space Marine chapter they were a part of, but it looks like they were defending one of their homeworlds. So these Eldar abandoned their civilization, went out into these more primitive I don't know if primitive is the right word, more savage, I guess, is the world, and they go and survive there, and they really get in tune with the planet. They basically survive through herding some like dinosaur type creatures, and like they do some farming, but they really try and keep balance with the planet. And so their civilization is basically consumed by Slanesh because they fall to like hedonism. And the Eldar are like a psychic type people. And so when they were consumed by Slanesh, there was like a huge psychic like wave that like wiped them out.
Yeah.
And it wiped out like the core Eldar. And so like only these some of the Eldar in like these spaceships or whatever survived, and then the ones that were on these like savage planets weren't really affected by the psychic wave that like destroyed them. So they still come in contact with the with the Space Marines and stuff like that, and it looks like they're going to be defending their planet from some Space Marines. And Space Marines who are loyal to the Empire show no quarter to the Xenos, and they see the Eldar as the Xenos. So that was like a really cool teaser, very short, quick, shows the speed of the Eldar, how fast they are. And then the second one was it wasn't as straightforward. It was a little bit more chaotic. It was hard to figure out like what you were actually looking at. The guy who did it actually admits that a little bit in his description, but he said he wanted to get it up there anyways, and he promised a better product in the next one. But that one featured the Black Templars. It showed like a ritual of how they form a Black Templar, it looked like, or create a new member. I wasn't really sure on that.
Like an initiation, looked like they were blessing them. Like an initiation.
Yeah, but it was almost like they like there was like 4 or 5 guys that like died to like bring this Black Templar Astartes to life. Almost. Maybe, I don't know.
Could be. I mean,
it's hard to tell. I'd have to learn more about their lore. Yeah. I was trying, so we were mentioning this earlier at the beginning of the show when we were talking about things we were enjoying. I really want to get my hands on a I think it's called Damnation Crusade that Boom did in like 2015. But like the trade paperbacks are like $100. It's like crazy. I'm like, what? You need to you need to reprint the Warhammer stuff, but they probably can't because the license.
Yeah.
Maybe Marvel will reprint that stuff. They were reprinting all the old stuff, but I don't know if I want to give my money to Marvel, but I do kind of want to read that story.
AliExpress.
Especially when they can't promote, they can't even promote Steve Rogers when they're promoting Captain America stories.
Oh, let's not even get into
that. But so there's some really good fan videos. We got them both up on the website. You can also find them on YouTube, obviously, as well. Highly recommend watching them. They're both high quality, very short, but still quite enjoyable.
Yeah. Astartes is one man, so the fact that it's like 3 minutes at all is a testament to his skill.
Oh yeah,
or his dedication, rather.
So Astartes. So these ones. So the other two that I was talking about are done by different people. One is like Primaris, and the other one is, I don't remember his channel name. I'd have to look it up. But what's really happening in the Warhammer community right now is so this Warhammer community Twitter sent out this message titled "Warhammer's for Everyone." Yeah, that just looks cool. Basically, there isn't anything really wrong with this top part. The issue right here that members of the Warhammer community took issue with is that if not, you will not be missed. So basically, if you don't agree with us, we're going to get rid of you, which contradicts the whole idea of Warhammer is for everyone, right? If not, you'll not be missed, but Warhammer is for everyone. Well, obviously, which one is it, right? You can't really say both, right? And so Arch Warhammer YouTuber launched an email campaign towards Games Workshop, who is the creator of Warhammer, or the company that makes Warhammer figurines, miniatures, and then licenses the property out to like THQ Nordic and obviously Marvel, previously Titan, and then Boom before that. Yeah, Jeff. So just getting back to the Astartes, Jeff says the last one is over 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Yeah, he has some that are a lot longer than the other ones. The Psyker one is like is pretty long. That one's the X. That's probably my favorite. I don't know if there's a new one. He did one after that, but it wasn't. It wasn't. I don't think it was. It wasn't as entertaining to me. Still really high quality. But so basically, Arch launched this email campaign because he wants to combat the infiltration, the subversion, the politicization that looks to be infecting Games Workshop based on that Twitter post. And he says, when he was launching the email campaign, he says, I think we have one last chance to send a bit of a warning shot across Games Workshop's bow to simply say, stay out of it, don't get involved, stay neutral, simply keep producing the universe and the miniatures that we all love, and we'll all be happier for it. That sounds like a good thing too. So he gave us a previous update. Basically what happened is when they first started sending the email campaign, they crashed the Games Workshop community customer service platform, and people were getting 404 errors, or at least that's what the assumption is. It's not like we don't know if they were flooded with emails actually caused that, but that's the assumption, because Arch also says that if he puts his tinfoil hat on, maybe it was Games Workshop shutting down their own customer service to try and stop people from emailing them or something. So that's the email still. See, that's a great cover too. Look at that. Man, let the galaxy burn.
That is a really good cover.
Yeah, that's pretty.
So he gave an update a week ago. He said we already have some excellent effect on target. Within hours of launch of the campaign, we managed to make the Games Workshop customer support page go belly up. Yes, indeed, we crashed that little bastard. We made it go the way of the dodo. That's just impressive. So he gave that update, and then he gave a new one here. Let me get down to it. So the email campaign has been picked up by a huge number of people, both YouTubers, websites, and Facebook groups. We've had quite a lot of reach on this. He actually mentions us in his video. Appreciate that. Thank you, Arch. And he says, this is a very, very, very rough estimate. I would assume we probably had the campaign in front of well over 100,000, perhaps 200,000 plus eyes. I'd probably say it's more than that, just based on what our articles have been doing. And so if just 1 or 2% of all those decided to send an email, we are talking because I also know the Quartering did a video too, and that guy reaches a ton of people. We are talking 1,000, 2,000 plus emails. That is a lot of electronic mail heading Games Workshop's way. He said, let's spitball a little bit here. What kind of effect may we have had on this? Well, we know we've sent a lot of emails to the point where we actually managed to crash. So he's reiterating what last week, where they had to fix their shit a little bit. 404 errors were being sent. As one person noticed, we disrupted Games Workshop business infrastructure. So like them like getting the 404 errors, he's saying that disrupting their business infrastructure. I thought that was this is what I'm talking about. This is what I want to get. Damnation Crusade.
Cool.
The Black Templars. That just looks awesome. So cool. So what was interesting, he said that Games Workshop was sending out emails stating that because they were getting so many emails, it would take them up to 10 days to actually respond. Arch believes that's probably the case because they don't have a actual response ready for an email campaign. Their corporate structure wasn't prepared to have any pushback from that statement. They probably thought like, oh yeah, this is what everyone's doing. No, we won't have any problems with this either. Little did they know. Because if they didn't care, if they were just going to write it all out and ignore it, they would have written an email template saying something like, we know and understand, we think that Warhammer is for everyone, inclusivity, diversity, blah, 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 empty bullshit. You know, the usual corporate rhetoric. And I think he's right there. That's what you usually would have got if they actually just were going to tell these people who had probably have spent thousands of dollars on Warhammer products to saw it off. They probably don't want to say that in an email. But that has not started to arrive yet. So he's saying this corporate letter hasn't arrived, which he says seems to indicate that GW is still mulling this over as to how they're going to react. This is good. This is very good indeed. I think this is from the Titan one. I think I have this. I actually have the Titan ones. I bought most of the Titan Warhammer stuff. They were okay. They weren't like great. They're okay. Arch then questions, will we receive a proper response? Well, I don't know. I think we've certainly done more than enough to warrant one, but GW is a multi-million-dollar company. If they wanted to ignore this, they absolutely can. So I think I saw someone ask in the chat. I'm not seeing it anymore now. I'm not seeing it. I thought I saw someone asking it. Oh yeah, Mark 63366. Will Warhammer be saved? Arch kind of answers that. And he says he's not sure. It could go either way. But he also does encourage people to keep emailing, and especially if you've already sent an email and it's been 10 days, to send one again and ask what their response is to that email. He actually says that he hopes that GW will actually engage with this message openly and fairly and actually go, you know what? Okay, fine. Warhammer is for everyone. No ifs, no buts. It's just for everyone. He says that would be the ideal circumstance, of course, because that would allow anyone who wants to be a part of the hobby to be a part of it. For everyone who loves Warhammer, there should be a place. He actually, I would probably disagree with him on this, which we've kind of talked about this a little bit before. He says that he would even want the people who are basically trying to push him out of the hobby to still have a place in the hobby. Whereas I think you need to gatekeep your hobby so these people can't come in and destroy, because we've already seen them do that. Which, I mean, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to gatekeep you out to destroy your hobby, whereas you have to gatekeep them out so they can't destroy your hobby. I think that's kind of where I'm at on that right now. OC Steve thinks that they're going to ignore it and rot from within their own armor. Yeah, they're probably going to become Chaos Space Marines. Probably. It's probably a good prediction. That's probably what I'm thinking. Well, I think a lot of these companies think that they can get away with a lot of this stuff because they're so big that they're too big to fail. They have all the licensed property. People are so involved in the brand. But as we see with Star Wars, that's absolutely not the case. See it with Star Trek, not the case. See it with Marvel Comics, not the case. See it with DC Comics, not the case. Over and over and over, you see these brands are suffering, sales are suffering, and they continue to double down. They continue to die the slow death. So this wonderful? Yeah, it's definitely
so optimistic. Oh my god.
I mean, I'm not really optimistic with this. I don't.
No, I was being completely sorry.
Oh yeah. Okay. I can't see you, so I can't see your body language.
Look at the Holy Dax and get over it. You can see
the Holy Dax now.
Yes.
Yeah. So OC Steve, like again, he's mentioning Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, you're totally right, OC Steve. That's just another example.
Well, you're right, John. I mean, they're not only taking over, but they're actually gatekeeping us out of our own hobbies, right?
No, that's exactly what they're trying to do. Yeah.
That's what we have to. That's what you have to, go first and hit them harder, and keep them out. Because if not, the cancer is going to take over the body and reject all the normal cells, and they end up with developers who think they're unicorns.
Yeah, I think Dan, you're right on point. But I also think Dan makes a good point here too. He says the graphic novel and digital sales are awesome. He's obviously being sarcastic there. And I think that gets to the point. They don't care if they're selling to a retail store. That's what they're selling. They don't care if those books are actually being moved anymore because they don't offer the so back in the day, if you watch any of Chuck Dixon's videos, he actually explains that back in the day when comics were sold on newsstands, they would be returned. You would return the ones that didn't sell, and that's how you knew how well how popular your comic was how many returns you had. The lower amount of returns, the more popular your comic was. The more returns you had, people weren't buying your comic. Either there was something with the curb appeal, or your story sucked. I don't know where I was really going with that right now. I kind of just lost my train of thought.
The distribution, it's different now. Right?
Yeah, so the distribution. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for getting back on track there, Jorge. But yeah, so the distribution is different now. So they are only focused on selling to people like Scholastic. That's considered a win. They don't care if Scholastic isn't selling to your 5-year-old niece or nephew or whatever. All they matter is if you sell to Scholastic or if they're selling to your local comic shop. Comic shop doesn't matter if the LCS is actually selling the comic or not.
Exactly. I mean, as long as the comics make it to the shelves, they've already got their part of the pie. It doesn't affect their bottom line. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
If the shop owners got to discount it up to high heaven just to be able to move the product.
Yeah, that's really what you end up seeing. And then you see a lot of these new comics, they end up in like dollar bins or even cheaper.
Yep.
Or you just see stacks of them just sitting on shelves. Yeah.
Like it's the funniest thing ever.
So what was interesting is that there has been a counter email campaign launched. And Arch actually shared one in his video, and it reads, in response to the email petition organized by Arch. This obviously was a British person because they spelled it with an S. I sent my own email to customer service at gamesworkshopplc.com. I encourage you to do the same. The email template then reads, please don't listen to Arch. Arch says that the statement that Games Workshop made in support of BLM, etc., adds unwanted politicization, yeah, there's the S again, to the game, and that Warhammer is now not for everyone. That's literally the opposite of what Arch has been. Well, that is what Arch is saying there. He doesn't make it. He doesn't say anything about BLM though. This guy's just making that up. What he means though is that his specific and abhorrent views about race are no longer welcome in the hobby. Arch, we'll get to this. Arch addresses this. He actually makes fun of this person for that. I kind of did too with this image. I am Lord Khan, your nemesis. Look upon me in despair. You will not die here, man of flesh and faith.
We shall take you and break you and pour corruption into your soul until it is as mother's milk. Then when you are ruined, wretched thing, we shall set you upon your own, a mad dog of war. So I think this is a Chaos Space Marine here, and like basically what they're trying to do to they're trying to get to the Warhammer players. These corrupt them. It continues. No one I know agrees with him, and are all glad that he and his type have no place in the hobby. Like, see, that's exactly what we're talking about. So, what did he say up here? He said that Arch says that the statement that Games Workshop made in support of BLM adds unwanted politicization to the game, and that Warhammer is now not for everyone. He and his type have no place in the hobby we love. That sounds exactly like what he's saying is true. I mean,
without a doubt.
As obviously also showing their hand, they want to gatekeep people like Arch, people like us out of Warhammer. Even if we're just reading the books or reading the graphic novels like myself, they don't want us involved. He says he can't. This person says he casts us all in a bad light as angry, impotent, basement-dwelling troglodytes. I mean, Arch looks like he has pretty high production value on his videos. He doesn't look like he dwells in his basement. He doesn't really seem angry, and I don't even like this. Seems just like an absurd comment calling him impotent. But yeah, gotta get those ad hominem attacks in to make your point clear. In reality, people in the hobby are probably more well balanced and thoughtful as a result of painting and playing. Warhammer should really be for everyone, but that is not what Arch wants. At the end of the day, he is just a massive arch hole. I actually thought that was kind of funny too. So did Arch. But the person who's actually saying that Warhammer isn't for everyone is this guy, because they literally say he and his type have no place in the hobby we love. I was having some fun with the images here. Arch would address the points of piecemeal in the video. See that, what's that, Spencer?
That's half the fun of writing for us, is playing with the images.
Yeah, who wants to be first? So this guy's like surrounded by a bunch of Chaos Space Marines, and he's a Black Templar, and he's like, I will not be corrupted. I'm going to go down. Gonna have to take me down with me. Yeah, OC Steve is saying none of these woke warriors have ever set foot in a Games Workshop, just total crap. Well, yeah. Arch is aware that not everyone plays Warhammer and wants to maintain the integrity of his community. Yes, totally agree, OC Steve. So the Arch responded. He says, I don't recall them making a statement on BLM. I presume he's just pointing towards the Warhammers for everyone but comment. Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about. And then he responds to he says some other things, so you need to watch the video. I kind of just picked and chose the juiciest parts on this one. Nice. He says, oh no, my abhorrent views on race. You mean I know that skin color should be the least important aspect of a human being, and how it should not matter in the slightest when it comes to your ability to play a hobby that you like. Abhorrent indeed. What kind of opinions must this guy have on race if that's abhorrent? Holy shit. I didn't know that there are this many hardcore racists in the extreme far left extremist parts of the hobby. Jesus. To the impure, I bring pain. I really did have a lot of fun with these images. In response to the final sentence, Arch stated, no, but you don't get to go. Warhammer should be for everyone, but no, Nick, stop. Yes, exactly. He's calling his like hypocrisy. And then Arch just says that he believes the campaign is having an effect. The fact that they are trying this hard. I mean, if they thought that we weren't going anywhere, they would just ignore us. They wouldn't bitch on Twitter.
That's a good.
They wouldn't ban Facebook posts. They wouldn't ban people who talked about it. They wouldn't be going full censorship, and they wouldn't be doing stuff like this filled with ad hominems. Exactly.
Interesting.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah. So this was another fun. I don't know if you guys can read it, but it says, "We few may die this day, yet death is not to be feared, only failure." Yeah, I thought that was another fun one. That's again. I think this is from Damnation Crusade as well. He was a Black Templar fighting the Chaos Space Marines. I don't know if they're corn or not. I'm still not. I read it, but I'm not super. I don't know. Like, that's obviously a chaos symbol, but I don't know which god these guys worship.
So yeah, he thinks they're having an effect. I agree. I think they're definitely having an effect. I hope he continues on with it. I hope people keep emailing them. I want to encourage people to email as well. I think it's a worthy cause, and I just wanted to bring that up and make sure that we get that help get that message out there even further than what we've already done.
No, heck yeah.
No, it should be.
Need to stand up.
It should be, because what this is going to do is, like, it's going to inspire beyond this to where, like, there's going to be people that, start to push back and email in other different IPs and spheres, and that's good. We need that, because, when you're not happy, when you're dissatisfied with the product, your voice needs to be heard. And if they're being too political with everything, then you need to tell them, look, you're being too political with everything. And they need to hear from the actual fans. And there's been so many people around the entertainment industry, period, when, we always seem to concede and give up ground to these jerks, and we need to push back and take it right above their head to the people that create the stuff and tell them, look, we're not going to stand for it. If you don't want us as fans, that's fine, but then you're going to lose money, and lay it out here for them.
I actually think this is a really good template right now, but as a short-term play. But I was listening to Gary's chat earlier today on Nerdrotic YouTube. He was actually making a really good point. You have to, you actually have to get people to go into these companies and make the change in the companies as well. I mean, that's how these like we just talked about. We spent an entire, I don't know how long we talked about it. It was probably 30, 45 minutes talking about Barr and in talking about where Disney was in World War II. It is a drastically different company because you have drastically different people working there that have very different.
Not a patriot to be found.
Yeah, you have very different. Well, I'm not going to say that. I think there probably are a lot of people who are still patriots at Disney. I do think that there are obviously people. I think there probably are people who aren't, though, as well.
Yeah.
And I think it seemingly looks like those people have a lot of influence, or at the very least, they are cowards and they are caving to external pressure and foreign agents.
Yeah, well, Mark,
as well as greed. Yes,
I agree with your comment, Mark 63366. We don't have to go full on their tactics, but most definitely one tactic that we need to use is we need to gatekeep. And I'll keep banging that drum. We definitely need to gatekeep, and we need to gatekeep our stuff back. I'm just waiting for somebody to come out and let somebody say something bad about Halo Infinite when it comes out, because I'm telling you, the minute the social justice Puritans come for that, I am going to go on a scorched earth campaign, because I love Halo. I love the lore. I love the story. And if they come for that, I am just absolutely going to go on, it's going to go drop in like an ODST, baby. That's what I'm going to do.
So I think the best way I don't know if I'm pretty much on the gatekeep train, and I think the best way you do that though is you have to be able to be in a position to gatekeep. I don't think you can really gatekeep when you're outside of it. You have to get into these like a DC and Marvel if you want to. You have to be in editorial positions there. You have to start getting in positions at the production studios, or starting to create their. Or you start creating your own, and you rival them, which is I think is probably going to be the way forward. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream, yes, Gary thinks that EVS will probably potentially get a deal with Cyberfrog. You might see someone else get some deals as well, and you have to make sure that these people are gatekept out of changing your properties. And I will argue that. I think we're an example, personally,
we've created our own. We've created our own platform here, and I think we've done a pretty good job of keeping. We obviously have a point of view that the website takes. In that we have with our editorials, there are obviously points of views there.
You mean it's called having the correct point of view?
Yes, I will agree with that as well.
Read my Twitter profile. Opinions mine and correct.
Yes, exactly. So, I think that
DM's
we've
open.
created it. Yeah. So I think that's the way you have to go forward with this. That's how you're going to push back against this stuff. You guys can attest to this. We've been pushed on many fronts, numerous occasions.
Yep.
And we push back, and we get bigger, better, and stronger every single time. Gail Simone coming in and trying to go after us just made us even a bigger presence than before.
It shows that we're reasonable. But guess what?
Well, that's just you, Don.
No. Well, I
wasn't having any of that stuff.
I just tell her I'm ready to eat my neighbors.
There was no reasoning happening with that conversation. She was being disingenuous from the very beginning. The lies were extremely obvious. The first thing she said in that conversation was a lie, it was easily pointed out by her own previous words.
I mean, yeah, but it exposed her. I'm
not obviously. I'm not.
Don't ever expose her. Let's keep her clothes on.
But I have an issue with liars. So
yeah.
You mean like a normal person?
As I said, it triggers me. All right, I think we're it's a little over past midnight now. Thank you all for joining us. We do this every Wednesdays from 9, usually to midnight on the Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern to midnight. I know Toxic Man Flu is saying talk about the stream is still going. That's kind of our usual time, Tox. We usually go from 9 to midnight. We have a great time. I think tonight was I had a blast tonight. This was a really fun stream.
This was so much fun from us to the chat. It was just great.
Oh, we had a lot of stuff happening, man. It was a great stream. Thank you all for joining us. Really do appreciate it. So let's go around the horn.
I was going to say, read us on Bounding Into Comics. We've always got new content up every day for your reading pleasure. So make sure that you continue to check us out. And thank you for your support. And check out our merch. Right, John?
Yeah, I didn't actually put that in the description below. I'll have to do that after we sign off here and get that fixed. That was the one I forgot to do that today. All right, take it away, Drew. We'll let you start first. We'll go around the horn the other way this time.
All right. So I am Drew Taylor. Of course, I write for Bounding Into Comics, and you can find me on my YouTube channel at Supreme Heretic. You'll also find me on Twitter at Supreme Heretic. And my Twitter feed's never at a loss for interest. That's for sure. It's got plenty going on. And make sure tomorrow, if you like Battlestar Galactica, as in the Ronald D. Moore version of Battlestar Galactica, we do a little show called the Pegasus Actual Podcast on Thursdays. And of course, it's myself. I have author Stephen Walton and his copy, and also have on the show tomorrow, Script Doctor, of course. We've got Bear Nerd Fun, and we're also going to have on Jane Theory, and we will probably have back Nerd Cookies and Culture Casino. So we're going to have a pretty full house tomorrow. So make sure that you check us out. And one of these times, I am going to get John on to break down an episode, since he lets me come on Trek Tuesdays. So I'm going to have him on my stream one of these days. I want him on there.
I did drive by last time. I said hey, I think.
Yeah, I know.
Might have been 2 weeks ago. I don't remember. it kind of blurs.
Right? Time is over. Time has no meaning.
Yeah. All right, Spencer.
As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Kabuto Writer Mav. Aside from that, you can find me pretty much daily on Bounding into Comics, and catch us. You can catch me and John Friday for our anime rewind, as we'll be checking out the next episode of G Gundam. And next week on I think it's Wednesday, John, we're gonna have a special stream for we'll be reviewing the Goblin Slayer movie. So that'll be fun. Everybody check that out, and have a good week, I guess.
All right, Don.
Yeah, so I usually have a therapy Thursdays, but I will be covering some stuff happening at the Comic-Con at home tomorrow, so look for some articles on that. I believe the Star Trek...
Don's going to be in tears for the New Mutants.
Yeah, so am I.
Anyway, doing the Star Trek Lower Standards panel. That one's going to be... That one's going to be fun. So yeah, look for that one.
Just make sure you get the toxic waste out of the holodecks.
Oh gosh.
Get the mop.
Pray for me.
Make sure you have some pants on.
All right, Jorge, you're next.
All right, you guys can follow me at Past Stage 6 on Twitter. And every day I'm bound in the comics. Normally got something going on, cooking up. Tomorrow should be some Freddy Krueger news, as we discussed a bit today. Looking forward to seeing Francesca Krueger with her Hadachi claws. You know, that's going to be an awesome movie. And next Trek Tuesday is coming up next week. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and get to see some more of that sweet Holy Dax with the rest of us.
Yes.
That's right. So I think Spencer kind of covered what we have going on with Anime Rewind and Goblin Slayer, Goblin's Crown. I'm super looking forward to that.
I'm excited.
Goblin Slayer, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Check the anime out. I did buy there's tons of it's actually originally a light novel. It's been adapted to a manga. They're doing a prequel right now. And then I think they're still doing new Goblin Slayer stories as well, and there's like side stuff too. So I mean, it's really growing in Japan and obviously abroad as well. I loved that first season of the anime, and I can't wait to get my hands on the first volume of the manga. And then I got the spin-off too, so I'm going to be checking both those first volumes out. So I'm really looking forward to the movie. The Goblin Slayer is what the Mandalorian should have been, in my opinion. So I have high hopes for this film. So we're going to be doing that on Wednesday, probably around 3, which is the time we normally do Trek Tuesdays on Tuesday. So it'll be Wednesday at 3, and then we'll obviously have our Bounding Live as well still at 9. So we'll get a double dose of Bounding live stream on Wednesday. We'll probably keep the review to an hour or less, maybe 45 minutes. We'll see. And then obviously we do Trek Tuesdays, as Jorge mentioned, on Tuesdays that we start at 3, and then the Anime Rewind. And Spencer is working on audio files for his God of High School reviews, so look for those on the channel here on YouTube as well. So lots happening, and then I'll be working on trying to get the Twitch up so we can play some games as well, and you guys can see us. You can see me curse at some of the strategy games I play when I make a mistake, and I'm like cursing at myself because I'm an idiot. And it's like, what are you doing, John? Like, that's so stupid.
Some platforms.
No platforming. Platforming is me yelling at the game for having platforming in it.
Yeah, if I get to do a stream on the Bounding channel, look for me to do some Halo stuff. I'll probably go in multiplayer.
Dead by Daylight, man.
I'll do some Dead by Daylight as well. You go in multiplayer and talk trash to people. So you guys will get a kick out of that because I am a very good trash talker.
Jorge, do you know? We do have a final question from Toxic Man Flu. Which episode is next on Trek Tuesdays? I know John Willis says the last one we did was Captive Pursuit. Do you know what's next?
Oh my god!
Off the top of your head?
No, I gotta look it up real fast. Give me 1 second.
Yes,
It's a Dax one, right?
God dang right it is. Should be Q-less.
Q-less. Oh, it's so cute. It's gonna be showing up.
Yeah, that's a good one.
There we go.
It's a real fun one, guys. If you haven't had the opportunity, check it out on Netflix in the United States, Hulu, I think internationally, and Amazon Prime.
Free
as well.
on. I think it's free somewhere else too. I think it's on Pluto, maybe.
No,
Dark
Pluto
web.
does only next gen right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So catch it. Q-less, an awesome episode.
One of the things I also wanted to do, I really liked what we did last week. I wasn't sure if we're going to have a guest this week. It fell through. But I do want to I really liked having OC Steve with us last week. And so one of the things I want to do is to kind of just bring one of you guys on to the show and just chat with us. So if anyone wants to do that, send me a DM at Bounding Into Comics on Twitter. Obviously, I think that's probably the best place to do that. So if you want to join us, hop on, because I think that was a lot of fun, and I'd like to kind of create a trend there where we have audience members join us for a stream.
That'd be
I am
awesome.
also efforting trying to get Upper Echelon Gaming on the stream in the future. So
yeah, let's get that happening. All right, thank you all. I hope you have a great Wednesday night, and if we don't see you on Friday for our Anime Rewind, I hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you either Wednesday for another Bounding Live. We'll see you Trek Tuesday, or for Goblin's Crown, but we look forward to seeing you again. So have a great night, and we will see you soon.
Good night, folks.
Take it easy.
yeah.
Night, guys.